Good afternoon, Sale Sharks fans, and welcome to our Facebook Live from the AJ Bell Stadium. Rugby fever has taken over, the World Cup is reaching boiling point, and finally the Gallagher Premiership is back, and your Sale Sharks are ready to take centre stage. Gloucester are the visitors to the AJ Bell today for what should be an enthralling matchup. This is Sale Sharks Live. So welcome back everybody to the AJ Bell Stadium on what is a glorious, typical Salford sunny Saturday. I told you we always have the sun shining in Salford. We are going to see Sale Sharks v Gloucester here at the AJ Bell Stadium. I am joined ever with Chris and Joe. Joe, I forgot your name in a minute then. Sorry, Joe. Joe, who have you got today in the studio?
We have got wonderful members of Sale 1861. It is the Sale Sharks women's team. We have got Catherine Ansell and Catherine Crane, and also the captain, Ophi McKenna, will be joining me. But it's also about yourself as well. Please get your messages in our Facebook and YouTube page, your comments, your questions. I'll read them out when I'm over there. It's Joe, by the way.
Thanks, Joe. I'll try and remember that for next time. And we're also joined by Chris. Chris is going to be in the commentary position with Ollie a little bit later. Chris, what are you keeping an eye on today?
Well, it should be a really fascinating game, this one, Colin, because Gloucester are a side, of course, last season who finished in the top three. They really impressed in finishing third in the Premiership, but Sale have clearly strengthened massively over the summer. And this is a chance for the fans to really see some of those players who have impressed in the Premiership Rugby Cup victories, to pit their wits against one of the top teams in the Premiership and to see how those skills stand up. It's a very mobile Sale side that's been put out today, with Jean-Luc Dupree coming up and playing at lock as opposed to his usual place in the back row. So lots of dynamism in the Sale forwards. I think Gloucester have got a lot of experience in their backs and a lot of quality in their backs. Danny Cipriani at fly half, of course, very well known here. Jason Woodward at fullback, masses of Super Rugby experience. So Gloucester a powerful side, a big test, but Sale will go into this one full of confidence with 4 out of 4 in the Premiership Rugby Cup.
And it seems a little bit that we're getting on where we left off last season, because we finished with a massive thrashing of Gloucester, 46 points to 41 in the Premiership last season. You know, taking leadership on that, John O'Ross, he's definitely back in the side, strong, ready to go. We went down to Carrington to have a little chat with him this week. We've got a little video for you to see what it takes to be a leader of this team.
I think if you look at the players we've brought in, we've added a hell of a lot of depth to the squad. You look around the squad, there's probably 2 quality players in every position. So that allows you to hopefully compete on more fronts. We're under no illusions of the challenges ahead of us. The Premiership is massively competitive, and there's some really good teams in the Heineken Cup, and our pool is tough. But we're confident that we can compete. There's never a game you go into where you think, oh, we'll just rock up and we'll win. You can never get ahead of yourself. You've got to take each game as it comes. And for me, the key thing is, as a team, as individuals, we're constantly striving to be better than what we were yesterday. And if we do that, we'll be in a better place tomorrow than what we are today. You want to go to a club that's really ambitious. I think this is probably one of the more ambitious clubs around. It's not easy. When you leave a country to go to another country, it's not easy. As a whole, the club do a really good job to try and make sure guys and their families are welcome. Dime, Scott, Johnny Leota, these guys go out of their way to make sure guys are sorted out in terms of when they arrive. They really do go out of their way to make people feel welcome. And I think, again, as I said before, the players, it's a really good bunch of people. So the players help each other and take guys out for coffee, go out for lunch, and try and make people feel as welcome as possible. Gloucester are a really strong team, you know. They've got quite a big South African influence as well, so you can expect them to be really physical. They got some fantastic ball players, Cipriani and the likes. You know, so they're a well-rounded team. They did really well last year. They finished third. So we know that the challenge is really big. So yeah, we're expecting a tough game. We know that it's a big challenge, and they're a fantastic team.
That's a very insightful interview there with the captain, Jono. There's a full version of that available after the weekend. You'll be able to get that on all the Sail Sharks social channels. It's about 10-15 minutes long, with more insights as well on what it takes to be a leader. Leadership qualities are very important, and this Sail Sharks team has lots of leaders on the field, one of which is with us today, unfortunately not playing. Denny, thanks for coming and seeing us today. You must be a bit frustrated not to be in kit at the moment.
Yeah, it's always frustrating to not get out there and play the first opening game of the season, especially with the team that we've put out today. It's going to be a very exciting game.
Now, when we were here at the end of the season, you scored a fantastic try in that corner over there, didn't you? It was amazing. What did that feel like, having all those fans cheering away at that try that you gave?
To be fair, I can't remember it, but
mate, it was mint. It was amazing.
I think it's always nice to cross over the try line, and you know, it's a credit to the fans that come week in, week out and support us.
And we talk about that a lot, and that's why we're doing these Sail Sharks Live, is because if you're sat at home watching this, you know, there's still time to get down for kick-off firstly and foremost, but we want to see more people down here, don't we, Denny? And what does that do to give you that boost?
Yeah, definitely, and I think the brand of rugby that we're going to play this year is going to attract a lot more fans and a lot more people to come down and watch us.
How difficult has it been, Denny, for players to keep focus for this long? Because starting the Premiership season almost at the end of October is so unusual. Yes, we've had the Premiership Rugby Cup, but this must feel like really the main event now.
I think that's a credit to the coaches and the staff that's behind the scenes. They've really kept the players engaged with the drills and the other little stuff that we do outside of rugby. We've really come together doing team bonding stuff. We've gone to Spain. We had a really good camp out there, and the boys, it's 100% buy-in from the boys, and to come in quite fresh this week, I think I'm looking forward to it.
And looking ahead to the season now, it doesn't reach its denouement until next June. Is that going to need a really big squad to get you right the way through there if you're going to be in contention come the end of the season?
The way Dimes have recruited, there's a lot of depth in every position. If you look at the back row, we've got basically two separate teams. So we're not too bothered about who plays or who doesn't, because whoever's behind them is equally as good.
How does that change the dynamic in the changing room and as you train every week? Because that hasn't traditionally always been the case here, to have such depth. And players must be, on the one hand, delighted to see quality arriving, but also thinking, am I going to get a game?
You know, we're in a competitive sport. If you create that atmosphere, it creates a competitiveness that probably some of the boys needed. And when we have that in training, it'll come out when the squad's selected and everyone just gets behind the starting 23.
And just finally, Denny, how high can this team go this season? Can you challenge the Exeter Chiefs and the Saracens of this world over a 22-match season?
If I'm honest, we haven't really spoken about that. We're more of a game-per-game kind of team that we're just looking at who we have today, which is Gloucester, and that's our only thing we're thinking about.
Well, Denny, great to have you join us today, and all the best with the toe injury.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Denny. Thanks very much. Okay, and one of the things, the pressure that can come from a long pre-season is about making sure that your defensive positions are right. We actually managed to get down to training this week, and we spoke to defensive coach Mike Forshaw to look at what the kind of defensive systems are and what it's going to take to keep this Gloucester team from getting over that line.
I thought we've had some really good moments and some moments that we can improve on. First game against Northampton, thought from a couple of set pieces we just didn't get our roles quite right. Saracens, people just working on their own a bit too much. In the main, I think when I've looked at the other games, there's been a lot of loose games. I don't think we've really been involved in a loose game, which is something that we've got to carry on to the season. We want to be winning games. We don't want to be winning games or losing games by 40 points to 30. We want to be be really solid with our defensive line. The biggest thing that we have to change is obviously the tackle rules. That's a massive thing now, because anything around that head area with yellow cards and red cards, you're not going to win. So we've had a big focus on our technical ability to get low in the tackle and compete on the floor. With some of the 6'5", 6'6" people we have in rugby union who are trying to go for that ball and stop their offload, there's a really fine line between the ball and the head area. So, some of the big players are not very good at getting low, so we've got to try and manufacture a fine balance in that area, that we're going through the ball and we're not going anywhere near that neck and head, because it's, as I said, we don't want to be losing one of our big locks in the first 10 minutes of a rugby match. Selection was tough this morning to pick, the 15 to run on side. So there's lads who are disappointed on the bench, lads who have not got in the team, and I think the pressure now where the intensity comes is you've got to perform to stay in that first team 23. I think it's been well documented. We strengthened our squad, and selection becomes tougher, but also our practices become more intense, which ultimately makes us better. So I think going forward, as we get obviously the World Cups over there, we'll probably string our attack and our defence against 2 15s that will get that intensity that we need to take into matches, especially in the Premiership. It's very well documented. Danny's there, obviously Billy Tweltrees, some of the backs, Woodward, Thornley, Sharplesma. They've got a good backfield there, so all our little nuts and bolts of kick chase has got to be on. And from a set-piece point of view, they hurt teams with some of the first phase launches. So, there's a big challenge for us there, and something that we've been looking at this week, and hopefully we can not give them too many good line-outs in good field position. We can't just think about Danny because he's got some good players. We've got to all work together. We don't want to be trying to solve problems on our own. Danny's a good player, and we've got to get the bolts of our team right. Whether we're folding or scanning up. If we overfold, he'll spot it and he'll put a ball in space with his foot or his hands. So, but they've got other threats. The backfield's very dangerous. They've got some good forwards in Ackerman. So it's a challenge for us. Six is always going to be a challenge, especially off launches. But we've got a good side here, and as long as we stick together and stick to the plan and do our systems and our principles, then we've got to just worry about ourselves.
Okay, well, welcome back. A great insight to training there at Carrington. If you have any questions for us, hashtag #SharksLive. If you've got any questions for the ladies team, the 1861 women's team, get those on the comments below. We'll get Joe to answer those questions shortly. We're joined by Mike and Steve Diamond, Director of Rugby. Steve, welcome. So we're finally off. We've got a Premiership game today. Long season warm-up. We talked about that last time. Particularly, what are you looking forward to and looking to see out of the lads today?
Well, just lots of energy in defence, doing what Mike has put through them all for the last 5-6 weeks. In attack, being accurate, getting some set-piece ball, and trying to play as we've trained. And if we can do that, then we'll see where we go with it.
Mike, we talked about the defensive role that you'll play, the coaching that you were doing this week as well, and particularly, like we said before, it's been a long time, like Steve said. What are you really keeping an eye out for today?
Just our energy in defence, our willingness to make tackles, get off the floor and be back in the line, and be communicating and just energised. We've got to bring the enthusiasm today with our defence.
It takes me ages to get out of bed in the morning. My reload speed's rubbish in the morning, but getting these guys back to their feet again, it must be really things that you want to see a lot more of these days. Yeah,
I think so. We're very lucky. We've got some really good athletes who are good at that area. Particularly in the back five, but it's a team thing. We've all got to be on the same sheet as once we make a tackle, we don't want to get a pillar out and lie there. We want to be back on our feet and back in the game.
And we're starting the Premiership again, Steve. It must be frustrating if the anticipation and the anxiousness to get going. How do you keep a calm demeanour in front of the team that you're playing against, remembering all that stuff that you've done pre-season? How do you manage to keep those guys straight and narrow?
Well, I think straight and narrow is the right term. We knew in June how long it was going to be, and we prepared ourselves, and hopefully we'll see the fruit of our hard work and labour over the next month or two. But it's just everybody knew when we were starting. We knew what the Premiership Cup was about, to try combinations, and we did that reasonably well. So both sides look as if we're not many injuries, and should be a good game.
Mike, where today do you think Gloucester might give you most threats? They've got a lot of experience in their back line.
All over the field. If we play loose today, we'll get punished. They've got a great team, Gloucester. Not only a great set of forwards, they've got a great counter attack, and obviously a great back line with great halfbacks. So we've got to be not give them loose ball and turnover ball, which is where they were a very dangerous team.
Under Johan Ackermann, they've developed a very fluid style of play. You're expecting the ball to be moved quickly today?
Yeah, definitely. I think the weather's turned up for us today, so we should see plenty of face play. So that equals that we've got to be on our toes because they're a very good face team. Like I said, we can't give turnover ball. We've got to look after our ball, exit on the right terms, and stick together and be in that connected line.
Steve, as always, glorious sunshine. We promised it. We always deliver. Why should the fans be coming down to the AJ Bell now? Not just for the weather, of course.
Well, I think Johnny Aitchinson and his community team have done a good job in the Premiership Cup. The incentives, the £3 a ticket, have worked. We've had 2,500, 3,000 more people through the gates who we've never had before. So we just encourage them to come and watch a different sport to football. As you know, it's massive in the city, but sides like Gloucester, top 4 side coming into Manchester, it's always an exciting game, as the last game of last season evidence. So yeah, come down, enjoy it, have a pint, watch, support some of the local lads, and remembering that 60% of the team were born within 35-40 miles of it.
That's so important. We're a northern team. We do it well up north, and that's the best thing about it. And our defence, having these extra people in this stadium, big defence for us if we get the crowds in.
Yeah, echo what Downsy said there. I think you start packing stadiums out and you defend your line with 5 minutes to go and you've got the crowd roaring behind you, then obviously it's like having the 16th man. So we want to really generate a good rugby style here, and hopefully we'll get people through the gates.
And that's it. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much. And we are a northern club, and we are growing, and that's what the best thing is about this team. We are developing into the ladies' side of the sport as well. And we spent some time down at Carrington watching the ladies train, who we're going to go and see in a minute over with Joe. Good luck, Joe, with that. And let's have a look how they got on at training.
My friend back home invited me down to what they call Summer Fit. I'm originally from the Isle of Man, and they have one women's team there. She knows that I'm overly competitive about everything, not just sport. So as soon as I had my first training session, I just fell in love with the sport, really. It's just a completely different atmosphere on the pitch as well. The girls, obviously in every sport you big each other up, but rugby is just on a completely another level. As soon as you get tackled and go to the floor, your girls are over you, protecting you, and that's what I love about the game, is that we're all there for each other. Every coach that go out on that pitch with us really motivate us individually and as a squad. I just love everything about the club itself. We have our gym sessions before every training session. We have rehab. I love everything that the club gives us opportunity individually and as a one squad, really.
I've only ever had one club, and I played for Broughton Park. It was great. There was a really great group of girls who were classed as one of my best mates, but I wanted to be better. I really wanted to try and be the best I could. And I heard about it through my coach at university that they were setting up 1861 here, and I just wanted to give it a go. I thought, what was the worst that could happen? And they seemed to have a drive and momentum behind them that I didn't really feel any other club really had. There was a real passion to do well. Passion was with the women. It didn't matter that the men's team were good. There was a group of girls there that really wanted to do well, just because there's a great name behind it, and it was a really good thing to go, oh yeah, Sale Sharks, Sale FC, really great teams. But I think the girls' team came together and they were like, we want to make our own stance on it. We want to earn that Sale name as well. I just kind of try and keep the chat up, because the worst thing you can do is be quiet on a rugby pitch. So if anyone's screaming, I try and make sure that people can hear you, emphasise that, okay, you'll hear who you've got, where you are. So if people can hear you, they know that they have someone there with them. So I just try and keep the morale up in that respect of just chirping away in everyone's ear.
I really wanted a good team around me to kind of build my rugby and to build friendships and things like that. I wanted it to be serious, but also to be fun. We have a really strong set of players, very talented, very skilled, very committed to rugby and developing women's rugby especially. but also everybody's great crack. Everybody's absolutely lovely and really, really welcoming. I think I've met a brand new set of friends, and to come out and have this bond so early on, it has been incredible and it's been a great experience.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Joe McGrath and I am joined in the studio by some wonderful people who are going to be with me all the way until kick-off. It is the Sales 1861 team. We have got Catherine Ansell, we have got Aoife McKenna, and we have got Catherine Crane. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, we're all right.
Bit of a quiet night last night, I heard. Nothing too crazy went on last night.
You know who you asked.
Listen, we are live on Facebook and YouTube, so what we want to do is get your questions in. If you have any questions, maybe in the build-up to this game, or maybe just ask the team, we're going to be chatting all the way up till kick-off, like I just said. Do get your questions in, so we make sure you put yours towards Catherine, and Aoife. So we're going to start off with a bit of a question about your own love of the game, right? So we had, unfortunately, I know Aoife Ireland got knocked out in the World Cup today.
Don't mention it, Mum. Don't make me cry.
You know, England are through to the semi-finals.
Wales.
Oh, you're Wales? Oh, sorry, that's
Whole interview's real now.
It's about the question I want to ask is your initial love of rugby, because I know the sales team is quite new, it's quite young, but when was it for you, Aoife, that you first fell in love with the game and knew that one day you wanted to play it?
Yeah, well, I've been watching it forever.
Yeah.
I have a massive rugby family at home, but I always played Gaelic back in Ireland. So when I first moved to uni, I said, well, I want to try something different, you know, new experiences. And when I realised that we could hit people and hit people hard, I fell in love straight away. It was great, yeah. And from that, I've had loads of experiences with different clubs, with Sale. Yeah. I was with Waterloo for a while in my own uni team, so yeah. It's been good, yeah. Been
so I feel I don't know Gaelic football. That is quite an intense sport as well. It's quite physical, but it moves up a level in rugby union. Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Gaelic, obviously, you can't put anybody to the floor. It's obviously a very high, intense game.
Yeah, try.
Nowhere near as intense as rugby. No.
Yeah. Catherine, do you have the same sort of experience? Is it maybe a certain game you watched, or is it just your family into it?
Well, my family aren't into rugby that much, apart from my dad, he loves it. But I dabbled in a few things, did a lot of swimming when I was younger. We're tall, they always put you in that lovely swimming pigeonhole, it's great. It turns out tall people can also do rugby. But yeah, I just kind of joined in third year uni, gave it a go. My friend literally brought me down to a session because I was bored, and I just kind of loved the fact that I could just tackle people. It was really good fun.
Catherine?
I actually started last September.
You started last September?
Yeah, just a baby.
So last September, what happened? Did you just think I'm going to give it a go, or did someone ask you to give it a go?
Yeah, it was one of the girls that I used to play for Vagabonds back at home in the Isle of Man. And she just said, come down and have a go. And as soon as my first training session, I just fell in love with it.
She's averaging about 5 tries a game now as well.
Right,
she's doing really well.
If in terms of your own personal journeys with Sale 1861, how did it come about for you to play for this team?
Well, I played for Broughton Park a season ago. It was my first team, and then I was playing at MMU, and I heard through like a grapevine that Sale was being set up, and it was just another bit of training for me. Like I was training on a Tuesday, I wanted to train on a Thursday as well. Can't get enough of it, evidently. And I just came down. I really liked the mentality, the girls, like everyone just kind of clicked together, and we just really wanted to play a bit more and see where it would go, which was lovely.
Because it's quite a young team, and this question has come from Andy on Facebook about how you found out about the rugby team. Aoife, you're the captain of the rugby team. So how did you find out about it? How did you get such a prestigious role as being the captain of it?
Well, to be honest, I heard from word of mouth. I had a friend, Jess, who was playing for Sale last year, and I really wanted a team where I could develop myself, but also be surrounded by a real great group of girls, which they all are apparently. In terms of getting captain, your guess is as good as mine. I don't really know. Yeah. All the players are amazing girls, you know, to get that prestigious, as you said, title is incredible, but we're all a group of leaders, so.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you very much, Andy, for your question. Make sure you get your questions in, because we will answer them on the film. So, Catherine, so September, the first game, did you look up to people like Aoife who might be playing the game a bit longer for how you were going to grow as a player?
Absolutely. I mean, I lose my head quite quick on a pitch. I think everyone knows that. That's like football and hockey, I think you can do that, but I look up to the more girls that have been playing a long time, just to, because I still don't know the game a little bit, and I'm still learning. I mean, everyone learns in every game, but yeah, I definitely look up to the older girls.
So Sale 1861 is a new team-ish, you know, a couple of years. What was the coming together and getting the chemistry right? What was, for Aoife, for you, what do you think was important to make sure the team were a successful team?
I think we all train hard together, and I think that definitely helps with the chemistry. We're all there for one reason. We want to win matches and we want to win them well. So when we're training, we train really well together. I think in terms of chemistry as well, we've really nailed it in terms of supporting each other on the pitch and off the pitch. You know, we cheer the hard tackles and the great lines just as hard as we cheer our try. So that's very important for us. And we socialise together as well, you know, we're good mates. And
Yeah, well, I want to get a bit more onto the socialising. That's a cliffhanger, by the way, if ever you need one. Right, so please get your question on our Facebook. We're going to ask him about the socialising element of it. We're asking him about the games coming up in Sale 1861, as well as this game right here, after a quick message from our partners. Welcome back to the AJ Bell Stadium. We're here for Sale Sharks in Gloucester. Obviously it's going to be a massive game. 3 p.m. kickoff. It's going to be unreal to see what the first Premiership game for Sale Sharks will come up with. A victory, a draw, even a loss maybe. Hopefully not, a victory. And I'm joined by Sale 1861 teams. We've got 2 Catherines here and we've got Eva as well. Chatting before the break, a little cliffhanger. Do you like what I did there? Like Netflix original. We talked about the socialising of the team. That sort of on the pitch as well as off the pitch, working together is just as key. Do you think?
Yeah, completely. I think, you know, we know each other quite well now, which is great. You know, I've only been there a couple of weeks, so these guys have known each other a bit longer. But that social aspect is so important to get those bonds, because then you're able to defend each other, you're able to pull each other back up and support each other around the corner. And I think knowing each other on a personal level just helps completely with the game and with the rugby.
Do you think, Catherine?
I think there's a lot of big
do you like that? Do you like the element of it, the socialising element?
Yeah, I love it. That's why I started doing it.
You just realise you're really good at it. I mean, like Mint, I could be really good at it as well as that. So for people who might not be part of a team, you go out together, you have a nice time together afterwards. What is it like then when you know, kick-off comes and your game faces are on? It helps you. Do you think it helps you in that aspect, Catherine?
I think so. I think it does. Like I said, we're all big characters. There's quite a lot of big characters in the team. And like, if you go out on the pitch and say we've had a social, like we just bring it all up and like you just really get to know each other off and on the pitch. And then when the game starts, you know they're going to be there for you, and they can read you like if you're down or if you're having an absolute belt of a game. Like everyone just picks each other up, and I think that's where it all comes from is that love and respect for each other as well.
Mega. So obviously the last couple of games have been alright, Catherine. You talked about a little trip to the Isle of Man. A battering over at the Isle of Man. What happened in the Isle of Man? Can you tell us?
A lot of fines.
Not a lot of fines, but we'll talk about that.
Fine for mentioning fines.
But we got woken very early on a Saturday morning, not a fan of that. Yeah. We flew over, it was great. We had a lovely game. It was a bit of a homecoming for Cap, being our own team, and then we surprisingly won 31-8 with 5 tries going to Cap.
Team tries. They were great.
Did you get all 5? Like, we can clip that, we'll clip that 100%.
And then we proceeded for a little bit of socialising with the other team in the clubhouse, obviously, and then going out, putting some bad shirts on show.
Not all of them were that bad though.
No,
some of them were actually like really nice.
Some fines thrown left, right and centre for people's just comments or like little slip-ups, falling over. And then just kind of got to know each other a bit better.
Yeah. And I think after a really difficult game as well, it was so nice to switch off, because we'd been preparing for that game basically all season. We knew it was going to be a real physical game. To be able to completely switch off afterwards and have a great time.
So you're doing good. It helps that you're doing good. And this in from a question on Facebook. Like I said, Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching this, get your questions in. This is from Bevan. Is the goal for the 1861 group to get to the Premier League?
I think that is a goal. But I think every goal is either the game that's ahead of us or this league itself. Like, we want to show that we can beat this league, go to the next one and deserve that next level up. The Premiership is something that's so enticing, but we should earn it and get our way there first and show that we're good enough to be there and we can stay there.
After the fun of it and the actual of the pitch, is there that serious chat, Aoife, about the goals of the team? Is it that kind of, right, we're having a bit of a laugh here, we're doing it as a team, we're scoring tries, let's set some goals, like what do we want to achieve?
Yeah, like I know we talk a lot about the social aspect of it, and we are enjoying our time in Sale, but it is very serious. You know, we know what we want to do in this league. We know who we want to beat. We know the sort of tries we want to score. So yeah, it is serious. We have set ourselves goals. Yes. I'm not going to talk about the goals now. We're going to stay on to because our sights are on the next game. As Kat said, that's all we're focused on is Sefton coming up now in the cup.
It is a cup game coming up next week.
Second round next
second round. Is a cup run something that excites you? Obviously, we're here at the Premiership today with Sale Sharks. That is a long sort of league can take it out of you. You can still build some back up. But it's a cup competition. It's that one game, isn't it? What do you prefer more? As a rugby player, do you prefer that sort of excitement of the cup game, or do you like the sort of leagues where, you know, if you get a defeat, you can bounce back?
I think it comes. It's like 6 of one and 3 of another.
Yeah.
It's great, those cup games, because there's sometimes people who are a league above and it's a bit more interesting because you're like, I'm going to challenge myself and see where we can go with this. Or with the other games, like I know I'm playing my old team in this league, and it really excites me to see what we can do and how they are. And then if we do lose, we can go back and show them we're better and we improve, and that's not going to define us by making a loss. So
it's a challenge, isn't it? I think the cup's always a challenge. I think everybody sets their eye on the cup, don't they? It's throughout all rugby, throughout every level. The cup's always a big game.
What about for you, Catherine? Obviously, just starting the game in September.
I just take every day as it comes, like every game as it comes. Sorry, just like there's no difference in a league game to a cup game. It's just a game of rugby for me. I think that will come with experience. Like the longer I'm playing, that the difference will show. And that, but I just take every game as it comes.
We'll focus on this game a bit now. Maybe just about what's happening now in the warm-ups and the training. Game faces are on now. What's it like in the dressing room? Is there anyone commanding it? Is there anyone doing his little team talk? Who's in charge of maybe the music? What's going on there? Have you got any routines that you've already set?
Yeah, I love a Braveheart speech. I love a Braveheart speech.
Just do a Braveheart speech? Right, we've got to go in and record the Braveheart speech, 100%.
It's so good.
It's that Irish accent as well.
It rolls off the tongue and she's like, I want to see that big tackle. And it's just like,
and the Irish accent gets harsher.
The more angry you get.
So we'll get a bit more about that and a bit more about this game here. We're going to have another little message here from our partners.
Come in, guys. Just enjoy yourselves and show them who you are.
Je veux le ballon.
I want to tackle.
I'm unflappable. I'm unstoppable. I move like a rocket. I move like a ballerina. I hardly move at all. Well played.
I never want to stop.
Our game is about protection for businesses and communities, helping the people who guide and nurture, who inspire and support, who commit and deliver, helping to protect all those in our community who are just like us and who deserve the best. This is the Gallagher way.
Welcome back to Sale Sharks Live. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, get your comments in, hit like on it as well, and make sure you share it if you can do. So more people are watching this. I'm here obviously with the Sale 1861. We're just building up to the Sale Sharks for this Gloucester. It is the sort of the preamble to the game, and we're getting into that, weren't we, about Aoife's Braveheart speech. Captain Aoife loves the Braveheart speech. And what about music then? Because we didn't get into the music. Is anyone in charge of any tunes, or is there no music? Is it just...
It's definitely not me anyway, yeah.
Steph does it. Yeah, she brings in a lovely big old speaker, shoves it in the corner, puts on whatever she can find, and then just wanders off, so you can't even change it. So you're listening to whatever
That's
she
like personal time, isn't it? When the music's on, everybody else is quiet. We're just listening to the music, we're getting ourselves ready and ready to run out. So yeah, it's important getting our heads on. Exactly.
Catherine, and I know in this moment might be, is there any nerves floating about for you as a player? when you're building up to this moment and you're getting your stretches done before the Braveheart speech from Ethan. What are you feeling, especially as a new player, going into rugby, obviously only a couple of months? What is it like? Is it nervous? Or is it exciting?
I do actually get really nervous before a game. Aoife's Braveheart speech definitely picks me up. She prepares me for war, that's how I feel. And I go, we're going to win. But yeah, I definitely get nervous. More games like for Vaggers and like obviously if you're playing your own team, your old team that you used to play for us, that really got me down. Like I was just not in the good headspace was I. And I think the team really picked me up and they really helped. And that's what I love about the Sale girls, they're always there. And they've seen that in me and I didn't even know I felt like that myself. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Obviously we want Sale to win it, but for when a defeat happens in your team, obviously you buzz off the wins. I remember it was an amazing trip. How have you found even picking up this team if a defeat happens? Or
I've been very fortunate. I haven't lost with Sale
yet.
So that's been
as soon as you said
nice.
that, I said you're too good. Yeah. You haven't lost it.
But
do you know how to what it would be like as a leader?
I think every player knows what it's like to lose. Rugby is definitely like a psychological battle between your opposition. And when you throw everything on the pitch and come up with a loss, it's really, really hard to pick yourself back up again. Thankfully, I haven't had to do it with these girls yet, but I know hopefully that will never happen. But if that was to happen, that these girls would be pulling us back up and we'll be on to the next one.
So we're going to be watching this game today. We're watching it in the stands, and it's just a question I would ask each of you about when we watch the World Cup rugby, when we watch this rugby today, when we watch any rugby, do you learn anything from it, Catherine? Do you go, all right, okay, how do you watch your position? Obviously, if it's any other sport, you might pick some stuff up, but do you do that?
I think I'm a bit weird. Like I ref as well, so I watch the referee or I watch my position. Like get to like learn bits from everything. You get to see the way. I think it's also you get to see like a big team from the outside and see what they would do, how they go against something, how they see a defence, find the holes, and then manipulate it. That's something that I find really fascinating from watching all the different teams. Whether that's kicking game or just finding those hard lines, it's really interesting to see how on an international scale they work it and they make those gaps, and it makes it look so easy, but it's really not. But I think it's really fascinating to learn that mentality behind it more than the position. I find really good as well. Like I always get some line out inspiration coming through, but yeah, I think it's really good to watch on an international level.
And do you see any leaders as well on the pitch? Not maybe just in rugby, but in any game. Do you watch and do you learn?
Yeah, well, like one of my heroes is like Paul O'Connell, Brian O'Driscoll, and I grew up watching them. So in terms of leadership, yeah, you definitely take it from them because they were a massive presence on the pitch, you know, and you can always spot them where they are and what they're doing and what they're trying to manipulate. So yeah, I would watch them quite a lot. Yeah.
Do you ever watch yourselves back?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll get on to that in a second. Catherine, for you, was it important? Did you watch a lot of rugby when you first started playing?
Men's rugby.
Yeah.
Like the odd game I'd watch it, but I'd never really heard of rugby for women's in the Isle of Man. I know Vagabonds were promoting it a lot, but it just never really got to me up north of the island.
Yeah.
Ever since I started playing, yeah, it's really got out there. But we were just going back to watching rugby on telly.
Yeah.
For us backs, I'm always trying to like look at new plays and new lines and like, oh, can we try that move? And oh my God, that was sick. We have to do this.
Switch, double switch,
yeah,
switch.
Yeah. We're always tagging each other and stuff like that. So yeah,
It's exciting because obviously, if you're getting into it, just watching certain things, and you might not have tried that on the pitch yet, because obviously you're new to the game. Do you go into training then, and you try and work something out, and then try and execute on the pitch?
For us, I know us backs. I tagged Smithy in. Us backs, my crow. I know I tagged a couple of girls, like our Smithy fullback. I'm always tagging her in Instagram videos and stuff like that with like Premiership rugby and can we do this move and can you try this and that. It's quite fun I think because you learn quite a lot watching rugby. I know if I'm watching like a scrum because I don't really know what goes on in them. I just like mate, that was a good
don't
scrum.
want to be involved in that.
Yeah, it's quite good to know why that was blown or what happens there or what you know. It's just quite good to know aspect to.
Okay, so we are going to have a bit of a chat with Colin and Chris soon. But before we get into that, I want you to sort of score predictions, if that's all right. We'll save them for you, but on Facebook and YouTube, get your score predictions underneath and we'll read them out, see how you match up with these. But yes, I think we can go over to the wonderful Chris and Colin, who should be pitch side. Should we wave to them? Hello, Chris and Colin. Hello.
Come back to pitch side. Remember, we need to keep your questions coming into us. Hashtag Sharks Live and the Twitter at Sale Sharks Rugby and Sale Sharks on Instagram. Some interesting, I'm joined pitchside by Chris as well, just before Chris goes up to the commentary position. Some interesting matchups, Chris.
Yeah, there are, Colin. I mean, I think one of the interesting things is the philosophy coming up to this match, because clearly Steve Diamond has used the Premiership Rugby Cup to give plenty of game time to players who are going to feature heavily in the Premiership. Whereas for Gloucester, most of the players who are starting today have only played one of the 4 matches. So it'll be interesting to see which strategy works. Is it better to rest players in the run up to the start of the season, or get matches into their legs? That'll be one aspect to think about. I think in terms of specific matchups, as you say, fascinating one at 10 today. So Rob Dupree clearly for Sale, and Danny Cipriani returning to the AJ Bell for Gloucester. That'll be a really important battle. Also at 9, 2 experienced scrum halves. Will Cliff going up against Joe Simpson. Joe Simpson making his debut for Gloucester today, having arrived from Wasps. That'll be an intriguing battle. And then I think in the flank forwards, Yako Creel, always one of Gloucester's star men, up against Ben Curry. So that'll be a really good scrap at the breakdown.
Thanks, Chris. We're going to come and speak to you a little bit later on over in the commentary position. And obviously what we say about all the time is that this is for you at home and this is for the Sale Sharks fans. We've got some Sale Sharks fans with us today. They're running away because they don't want me to talk to them. We're going to chat to these guys over here quickly. Gentlemen. Hi, gentlemen. No swearing now. You're live on Sale Sharks TV. Big Sale Sharks fans here. Who are you looking forward to seeing the most today?
The Dupree brothers. I haven't seen them play together yet.
You must be very excited to see the size and the strength of this team now that we're getting into this new season. You must be looking forward to that.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And are you looking out for anybody in particular today at today's game?
Sorry?
Are you looking out for anybody in particular during today's game?
We want Ben Curry to be man of the match again, to match his twin brother.
Well said, thank you very much. Okay, and we're just going to go down to one of our partner messages.
Come in, guys. Just enjoy yourselves and show them who you are.
Je veux le ballon.
I want to tackle.
I'm unflappable. I'm unstoppable. I move like a rocket. I move like a ballerina. I hardly move at all. Well played.
I never want to stop.
Our game is about protection for businesses and communities, helping the people who guide and nurture, who inspire and support, who commit and deliver, helping to protect all those in our community who are just like us and who deserve the best. This is the Gallagher way.
I will be asking for my...
Welcome back. We are here all the way till kickoff, and you can see the teams are the final stages now. Sale Sharks vs Gloucester, and I'm joined by Sale 1861. Aoife and Catherine with me. The next couple of minutes, the score predictions. Yeah, we still want yours. Bit of we started having a little bit of a debate. We'll get to them soon. It's a bit nippy, isn't it, today?
It's a bit chilly.
You might see a bit of blue skies in the sky, but don't let that fool you. It's a bit nippy. We are going to talk a bit about what I was alluding to before, about watching games back. As a team, you film games and then paint a picture for me. Do you all sit down in a nice little cinema, someone's front room?
We should analyse it
Next
like
time,
that,
I think.
actually.
Normally we just get a lovely video from Andy, our director of rugby, going, watch this.
Okay.
And then we just kind of all watch it back at our own times, put maybe a few comments in with a time stamp as to you should watch this tackle here.
Yeah.
You got absolutely laid out here.
Watch this
They
later
dropped you in a line out here.
Yeah. We work on it in training then, we all watch it in our own time, but then Andy and Steph will say your tackling wasn't low enough. This is our job we're going to be doing now.
I think Lucy's got a question here that I'll go on to, but the first question I'll bring to it is the women's rugby game. Obviously it's growing in popularity. Would you encourage anyone watching now, the younger generation, to go out there, find your local rugby team, and if they've hopefully he's got a women's team and just get stuck in. Would you? I mean, what age did you start playing?
I only started 3 years ago.
So yes, that's quite.
I always wanted to start when I was younger. Like not in like when I was younger, but my biggest regret is not starting when I was younger. Like I see players that have started when they were 6 or 7, maybe starting with the little boys underage teams, and it's just like that experience is something you can't take away. And I think especially that team spirit from a young age, I think that molds a person and makes them, and it's just really good. And it's like if you can try it, any sport included, but rugby especially, the team bonding is something you don't really find in every other sport there, and I think it's pretty amazing. So if you start young, give it a go.
If you encouraged that as well, what was it like in Ireland then?
Rugby's big in Ireland, but I was always more on the Gaelic front, and same as Kath, my biggest regret is not starting rugby from a younger age. I think women's rugby now has such momentum behind it that it's so important to carry that on for the younger generations, you know. Like hopefully ourselves now, younger girls can look up to us and say that's where I want to be, and in a couple of years I want to have that team, I want to have the sport around me. So yeah, definitely start young.
Yeah. Catherine, for you, if it was introduced a bit earlier to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I was introduced to rugby at like a young age, I definitely wouldn't have played like hockey or football. It would have been rugby through and through. Like I just love it. Like it's quite scary how much I've fallen in love with rugby.
It's an addiction as well, isn't it?
Sleep with a rugby ball.
Eat, sleep, eat rugby. Yeah.
I can say that for anyone watching, they're watching this back. I think you three do stand out as like inspirations to younger kids who might want to be taking up rugby. To go and start early and get into it, find your local club and do what you do now and play rugby for maybe future Sale 1861 people are watching. The drums are going up behind me.
I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Did you not hear what I was saying? I was shouting louder. Shout louder.
Generations, yes. 1861, growing.
Momentum is picking up, and that's what Lucy's question is. Lucy says, do you think women's rugby will become sort of equally as popular or just gain popularity in time? Do you think that it's going to be a case where there'll be, you might be playing here in a couple of years' time?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. I think you look at other sports as well where women are becoming equal and like the American soccer game, wasn't it? Like they were equal and better than their men's team, and I think women's rugby is definitely going to get to that stage where we're equal. We've loads of work to do, don't get me wrong, but it's experiences like this, where we have this platform to talk about it and to say about women's rugby that gives us that momentum to hopefully get equal anyway. Maybe we'll think about better later.
Before we get into the Sale of Gloucester, having a chat about that, we were having a chat about before during the debate that you see about recovery. So, Catherine, obviously when you first started, some of the knocks you might have taken, some of the hits, did you find it interesting or even hard to recover
I'll never forget my first morning.
Talk me through. What was the game? Was it an intense game, your first game?
It was an intense game. I didn't put that many tackles in. Didn't really know. I just got the ball and ran as fast as I could, and that's what I do now. But I'll never forget the pain that I felt when I woke up and I was like, I don't think I've got any shoulders. It was sore, but yeah.
Do you all have your own way of trying to get over your recovery?
Normally go to Charlie, straight to the physio, help.
I think a good hot bath at the end as well. Good hot bath, a good hot meal.
A good hot bath and a good hot meal.
Yeah, that's plenty of sleep and get up and get going the next day. Light walk the next day, and
lots of food.
Lots of food.
Just eat.
So much solid than me. So just going through the players' minds now, I can see that they just get the final words off the coaches. Kick-off is 10 minutes away when you're playing. Is it just about calming yourself down and getting your game face on?
Yeah, I think, nerves is definitely a constant battle with yourself. But I was always told from my dad from a very young age that nerves is a part of your body just getting you to play well. So for the players, just know what you have to do, stick to your game plan and play your own game. Don't let the other team boss you around. You're there to play your game and just make that happen.
Did you say in your first couple of games it might have taken you a while to sort of adjust to that? When the whistle goes, then you're into it, or did you just find it naturally?
I found it quite natural actually. As soon as the ref blows the whistle, from other sports, it's just as soon as that whistle goes, your head's on. You've got to get stuck in. So it's quite easy.
That's the hardest part, isn't it?
Yeah,
waiting.
Definitely.
Did you play? And also you play Gaelic football. Did you play any other sports before you fell on rugby?
I did a bit of netball and hockey. I was actually in the Navy Reservists in uni, so I got to play a game called bucketball, which is full contact, 5 people.
Nice.
Horrific. It's on a hard wooden court, so it's never advisable. But that that was like just kind of dipped my toe into it, and then apparently swan dived into rugby. So.
Yeah, there you go.
So what I was getting at is, so netball go from netball to rugby.
Yeah.
What did you? I mean, obviously. What was the adjustment like
No
for
more
you? And how did you
nails.
do it?
Well, there was one time I played a rugby match, then played a netball match, and I did take a woman out mid-air.
You played a rugby match, then a netball. I bet you found the netball match mint. Like, no one's touching me.
one mid-air tackle, and then apparently people stay away from you. It normally works. It's really different, but I think it takes away from that.
The clapping, some clapping in the team. Keep going. Someone's about to do a Braveheart speech.
Not as good as mine, not as good as mine.
It's one next time.
Yeah, so that must have been a strange experience.
Yeah, definitely weird. I know. Did you find it difficult coming from football?
Yeah, it's soccer, isn't it?
Football and hockey.
Yeah.
I've played all my life. But, it was different, and obviously completely different. In I could catch a ball, and I was like, can't do that in football. But
Because we were talking about respect before, weren't we? About the coach and about keeping your head, and that discipline part of rugby.
Yeah, massively. That for me was the hardest thing coming into rugby. It's like football, like anyone can just shout anything. Like obviously you stay respectful, but in rugby, it's everything goes through the captain. And obviously I've come from that role from football, being like captain Laxey Women's, and it's hard not to just shout out. And I still do it now. And she even said she's going to take me off the pitch herself. But yeah, that was fun.
Right, so I think we're going to cut to a gentleman, Alan, in a second. We are going to get score predictions soon. Oh no, why don't we just get our score predictions out now?
Well, good start.
I'm about to start. I think Sale are going to win. I think it's not going to be as comfortable as some people might think because of Sale's current form. Because I think, although Gloucester have been a bit iffy, I think they're just going to win by, I'm going to go 21.
Don't steal ours.
Don't steal mine.
Let you go first.
High tackle coming.
Right, Cameron, what are you going to go for?
I think Sale will win. I think it will be close. Both teams have put out like quite strong sides, so I think it'd go for like 22-17. I think it'll be really close.
I said 19-16, didn't I?
You said, what did you say?
I said 19-16, so like really tight still. But yeah, I think Sale will win.
We're all quite similar.
We're being very political, aren't we? We're politically correct.
I think Sale will win, I reckon. Back in the boys.
Yeah.
27.
Wow.
27.
Yeah, 37. Well,
23. Hopefully the math works.
that's true. Score predictions aren't as easy, is it?
Yourself?
I was going to go 14.
15-14?
No, 21-14. Just say it. Are you as rowdy, maybe on the pitch or off the pitch? If Sale score a try, do we expect you pints in the air?
You'll hear us.
Yeah.
Just gonna drink though.
Yeah, I'll have to take the microphone off anyway. Very good.
Yeah.
Right, well, thank you very much. I think we're going to now cut to Colin. Colin's now down at the pitch side.
Come on, Colin.
Go on, Colin.
Number 10, Danny Cipriani. And number 9, Joe Simpson. And the forwards for Gloucester Rugby this afternoon. Number 1, Val Rapava-Ruskin. Number 2, Franco Murray. Number 3, Jamal Ford-Robinson. And the captain, number 4, Ed Slater. Number 5, Gerbrand Grobler. Number 6, Lewis Ludlow. Number 7, Jack O'Creel. And number 8, Ruan Ackerman. And the substitutes for Gloucester Rugby, number 16, Corn Fury. Number 17, Josh Honeck. Number 18, Fraser Balmain. Number 19, Freddie Clark. Number 20, Aaron Hinkley. Number 21, Charlie Chapman. Number 22, Lloyd Evans. And number 23, Matt Banahan. Now, AJ Bell, make sure you put your hands together for the Sale Sharks team today, starting with the bikes. Number 15, Simon Hammersley. Number 14, Chris Ashton. Number 13, Sam James. Number 12, Cameron Redpath. Number 11, Byron McGuigan. Number 10, Rob DePria. And number 9, Will Cliff. And the forwards for Sale Sharks this afternoon. Number 1, Ross Harrison. Number 2, Aka van der Merwe. Number 3, Jake Cooper-Woolley. Number 4, Josh Beaumont. Number 5, Jean-Luc Depria. Number 6, it is your captain, John O'Ross. Number 7, Ben Curry. And number 8, Dan De Priya. And the substitutes for Sale Sharks this afternoon. Number 16, Rob Webber. Number 17, Kearney Oosthuizen. Number 18, Will Griff John. Number 19, James Phillips. Number 20, Bryn Evans. Number 21, Ambrose Papier. Number 22, Rohan Jansi van Rensburg. And number 23, make some noise for Marlon Yard. And today's referee is Mr. Andrew Jackson. Now, back to you, Joe.
Hello, welcome back. Hey, they just love throwing it on us, don't they? Like, see Sharky down there. Have you met Sharky before?
I think I have actually. I think I just gave him a pat on the head.
You just gave him a pat on the head. Right, so we have been on Sale Sharks Facebook and their YouTube as well. And a couple of questions to sign us off. I'm going to go with Sarah, just basically expanding on the sort of physical challenge do you face when you go into rugby. Every single game is obviously intense, but Sarah wants to know your own personal physical challenges in the game of rugby.
Physically, it depends on the week. It depends on what we've done in training, what's having a bit of a niggle. I've broken ribs in the past, so those big hits always send me rattling. I don't know, physically I try to make sure that, because we train on Tuesday, Thursdays, that afterwards on a Friday and a Saturday we kind of take it a bit calmer, don't go too wild, don't go to the gym. Just like kind of, just get your, I think it's more a mental game physically that restrains you. But I just try, I know that I sit in the change rooms and I think of 3 things I want to do in a match, because I went through a stint at uni. And I'm losing.
Do you find that, Aoife, as well? It's like in there, have a lot of games in the mental.
Completely. I think physically, you know, it's a flip of a coin how you're feeling, and that's just up to fate and time. Mentally, there's a lot of things I try to do to make sure I'm mentally strong for it. I get very nervous very, very quickly. I feel a lot of pressure on my shoulders that I put on myself. So yeah, I try and keep myself calm again, just playing my own game, run my lines, do what I have to do.
I think we're going to have a little... Oh no, we're not. We're going to keep going. Because I know we want to get into your seats just to get yourself watching this game. Final question from Jeff. What do you think can be done to help promote the women's rugby game more? Who wants to take that one?
I personally feel like every club needs funding. Like without funding from like higher clubs or just like the Sharks and things like that, I think every club needs that to back them as well.
The people, like, it's so heartwarming. Like, if we have a lot of community outreach at CLFC, like trying to get your younger players playing, but to see people down at your games really just riles you to give it a go, and like promoting it on social media and every platform you can, just like trying to get the word out mostly.
I think opportunities like this as well, you know, putting our names out there, you know, getting the supporters down to the games as well will push us on for women's rugby over and all, really.
Well, I think it's been wonderful to speak to. Please come and join us again. We've got Catherine here and Catherine. We're going to do our wave now. You go and get your pints, go and watch this game. Enjoy Sale of Colchester. And that's been it from us.
Welcome back pitchside. We are moments away from this Gallagher Premiership game as Sale Sharks take on Gloucester in this first round proper, as they say. I'm going to hand you over to Ollie and Chris over in the commentary positions now to give you the match-by-match, blow-by-blow analysis. Over to you guys. Let's hear what you have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the AJ Bell Stadium. Well, we've had the entrees provided by the Premiership Rugby Cup. Now it's time for the long-awaited main course. Later than ever before, the Gallagher Premiership starts today. 22 league matches stretch in front of Steve Diamond's heavily reinforced Sale Sharks squad. Who knows if they make it to the Premiership final next June? There might even be a couple more. We're underway. The Gallagher Premiership 2019-20 season is underway here at the AJ Bell. Sale kicking off and going from right to left as Ollie Lathrop and I look out from the AJ Bell stand, and Gloucester in their change kit this afternoon of all light blue are in possession with Joe Simpson, their scrum half, launching that ball up the left-hand touchline, looking for runners to chase. But Sale are in possession early on halfway, and an initial burst from Rob Dupree from fly half. Cliff feeds now to Byron McGuigan in from his left wing. He's shackled on the 10-metre line but gets a bit of support from Jake Cooper-Woolley. Pop pass short goes to John O'Ross, and now it's driven forward by Dan Dupree, one of the three Duprees in action for Sale this afternoon. And now Ross Harrison drives it up as Sale go through the phases just on the Gloucester 10-metre line. Back to Dan Dupree again, left-hand touch line. Cliff fields it infield. Harrison breaks a couple of tackles, gets across the gain line. Good work from the loose head. Now it's Rob Dupree linking up with Hammersley into the line, who's got 3 tries already this season, Simon Hammersley, since his arrival from the Newcastle Falcons. He makes good ground as Sale move towards the Gloucester 22. Good early phases from the Sharks as Chris Ashton tries a cheeky chip ahead. The ball goes out for a line out, but early encouragement, Sale, for their home fans to enjoy. Ollie Lathrop.
Yeah, that was an excellent start, Chris. They used the forwards well and then took it out wide there, and it came out to Ashton, and you thought there could have been a try on, but it was good cover defence from Willie Hines and he got across. But a positive start for Sale.
So Sale with the first line out of the afternoon. Aka van der Merwe, their new hooker, will throw in. We're on the Gloucester 22 on the right-hand side. Big climb from John O'Ross, secures clean ball for Will Cliff. He pops the ball short and Sale drive forward from the resulting ruck. Once more it's Cliff feeding the ball on the crash as Sale try and drive through Captain Ross. Cliff once more recycles, misses out Hammersley. Dan Dupree trying to break the gain line, getting support from McGuigan. Gloucester, though, sense a possible turnover. Billy Twelvetree's involved, but Sale keep possession and start to forge away into the Gloucester 22. It's all Sale at the moment here at the AJ Bell as Dupree releases Hammersley. Hammersley looking to bring in Sam James on the overlap, and Sale working hard to recycle again. Cliff feeding it right, trying to see if he can get a breakthrough from Cameron Redpath. The Gloucester defence is solid. Cliff once more digs it out. A short pass which Ross looks to try and drive a couple of yards and produce quick ball, which he does. Sale moving again through Redpath. Ashton in from the right wing. Out to McGuigan on the left flank, just a yard or so inside the left-hand touch line. Cliff again feeds. Cooper-Woolley. Now it's Jean-Luc Dupree in the unusual lock position for him. First time he's played that in his career today. McGuigan gets the pop pass from Cliff. Phase after phase from the Sale Sharks. And eventually referee Andrew Jackson in his bright magenta shirt puts up his arm indicating an offside, and Sale forced the penalty.
Yeah, that was perfect, Chris, from Sale. They just used the forwards again, as we've seen. The Dupree brothers have been involved a lot so far. And the Gloucester defence, to be fair to them, did hold firm, but there was a high tackle and a right decision of a penalty.
Now, Rob Dupree electing to kick to the corner. Could have had a shot at goal there. It would have been about 5 yards in from the left touch line, bang on the 22. But perhaps a statement of intent from John O'Ross to kick to the corner, backing Aka van der Merwe to pick out one of the line-out jumpers. So Sale, 5 metres from the Gloucester line, have a line-out. Van der Merwe picks out Beaumont at the front. Sale looking to drive. But the ball, well, the referee's whistle has gone. It's going to be a Gloucester scrummage. I think the infringement there might have been for closing the line, Ollie.
Yeah, I think Sale will be disappointed with that. You know, you build up the pressure, you kick to the corner, you're hoping to drive, but it didn't quite come off, and Gloucester will be pleased to clear their lines.
Well, after all that Sale pressure, Gloucester have a 5-metre scrummage, which if they can secure their own head, should give Danny Cipriani potentially the chance to clear up field. Disappointment for Sale after dominating the first 5 minutes and having phase after phase of positive attacking intent. It all rather crumpled there with that infringement. Now, first scrum of the afternoon. Let's take you through the Sale pack. Harrison, Van der Merwe and Cooper Woolley form the front row. Beaumont and Jean-Luc Dupree in the second row. John O'Ross, Ben Curry and Dan Dupree the back row. The Gloucester forwards, Val Rapava Ruskin, their Georgian prop, is alongside Franco Murray and Jamal Ford Robinson in the front row. Ed Slater and Gerbrand Grobler in the engine room. Lewis Ludlow, Jack O'Creel and Ruan Ackerman, the son of the Gloucester coach Johan, form the back row. So who can get the early ascendancy in the tight here? On paper, Ollie, you'd say Sale had the better scrum.
Well, you look at the packs, Chris, and you would say have the stronger pack. They've selected quite a strong front row, whereas Gloucester, their first choice front row, is on the bench. So it'll be interesting to see how the scrums go.
Most of these Sale starters this afternoon featured in 3 of the Premiership Rugby Cup matches. Most of the Gloucester side only played in the 1 game, so a very different approach taken from directors of rugby Steve Diamond and Johan Ackerman. And Gloucester have managed to secure that ball, although a decent shove from the Sale tight 8. Chance for Joe Simpson just to stand over the ruck and potentially try a box kick to get his side up the touchline. He does try a box kick, it's charged down, and Danny Cipriani has to tidy up in his in-goal area and touch the ball down. Well, it all looked a bit telegraphed, that box kick from Joe Simpson, making his first Premiership start for Gloucester today, and a good charge down from Josh Beaumont. Sale slightly unlucky there, Ollie, that didn't lead to more.
Well, it was excellent defence from Sale. They could see Simpson was lining up for the kick, and they went after him, and well, Simpson was lucky in the end, really.
Danny Cipriani with a cheeky dropout that only goes a yard or so over the 22-metre line. It comes off. Jamal Ford Robinson, their tight head prop, picks up the ball and sets Gloucester on the way. First time, really, that the visitors have had any possession to work with. Here's Simpson popping it to Cipriani. 12 Trees runs the dummy run, and instead it's Mark Atkinson, who started out at Sale, of course, as a fly half in the centre today for Gloucester, who looks to drive the visitors forward. 7.5 minutes played at the AJ Bell, still no score, but there's the first penalty of the afternoon to Gloucester. Infringement at the ruck from the Sale forwards, and the chance for Cipriani to move his side upfield. We gave you the 2 packs this afternoon, the 2 back lines, the back 3 for Sale. Simon Hammersley at fullback, Chris Ashton and Byron McGuigan on the wings, Sam James and Cameron Redpath in the centres, Will Cliff and Rob Dupree at halfback. For Gloucester, Jason Woodward at fullback, Tom Marshall and Ollie Thorley are on the wings, 12 Trees and Atkinson the centres, and Joe Simpson and Danny Cipriani form a very experienced halfback combination as Gloucester look to surge forward now. First time they've offered any real threat. Ollie Thorley in from his left wing making that incision as 12 Trees then pops the ball up for Ford Robinson to drive forward. Once more the prop appearing in open play, and some defensive duty for Ben Curry to get involved with as the ball lands around the Sale 10-metre line. And once more, Simpson looks at his options left and right, gives it short to Cipriani, who plays a pop pass into the breadbasket of Jack O'Creel, and the South African makes a couple of yards up to the 22. Cipriani looking for a little dink kick for outrunning runners to get on the end of. Atkinson chases that one down, and Gloucester showing some invention in attack. We know this is their game. They like to play the game at speed and with fluidity under the coaching of Johan Ackerman. And here is Cipriani to Atkinson, wearing 12. He's brought down by Cameron Redpath just outside the Sale 22. Gloucester putting together a few phases of their own now as they look to try and put pressure on the Sale defence. Simpson bald-headed, has another look, but penalty coming, this time in Sale's favour. And Gloucester infringing at the breakdown, and that's going to give Sale every opportunity to clear. And Rob Dupree will have the chance to thump this ball upfield. Indeed, he makes a decent touch and moves Sale halfway between the Gloucester 10-metre and the 22.
I think Steve Diamond will be delighted with that, Chris. The first time the Sale defence was tested and they really came up trumps then, it was Akke van der Merwe at the breakdown, stealing the ball and winning the penalty, and that's what we've seen from van der Merwe so far. He's been so good at the breakdown. His line-out has been good as well. He offers so much around the park. I think that's exactly what Steve Diamond and the coaches would have been hoping for him when he signed in the summer.
Yes, his style of play almost makes him another flanker, doesn't he, for Steve Diamond to have up his sleeve. A really positive addition to the Sale squad. So line out for Sale. Van der Merwe throws it, but it's poorly executed. Beaumont's jump was unsuccessful, and there's a chance now for Gloucester to take advantage. They've got the loose ball, and they're in possession with Cipriani. Cipriani with another little chip kick forward, looking to try and bring Tom Marshall in on the right wing. That kick, though, too strong for the New Zealander, and it's going to be a Sale line-out. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us throughout the afternoon. The hashtag to use is Sharks Live, and EP Muldoon has been in touch and said, ready for the season to start proper. Here's to Marlon Yard getting a try off the bench. Yes, be good to see Marlon getting on the score sheet, back on the pitch at last after that long-term injury. And he is wearing number 23 today. Good chance you'd think of 20 minutes or so in the second half. But it's Sale back in possession. A knock-on in the middle of the park from Dan Dupree. Advantage being played by referee Jackson, just trying to give Gloucester the opportunity to take more advantage than a scrum might bring, but no advantage coming, so we'll go back for the knock-on. Yes, the Sale bench in full today. Rob Webber covering hooker, Connie Oosthuizen, the loose head prop, Will Griff-John, James Phillips, Bryn Evans, Ambrose Papier, the scrum half, Rohan Janssen van Rensburg and Marlon Yard completing the lineup.
It feels like a real early season game, this one, Chris. Neither side has quite got going yet. There's been some good moments in attack from Sale, particularly in that first 10 minutes, but there's still a bit of inconsistency there. There's been the odd handling error as well, and I think, you know, both teams will want to get some points on the board as quickly as possible, settle down. The first Premiership game of the season, we saw last night in that Bristol versus Bath game, points on the board was important, and I think as soon as that opportunity becomes available to a team, they're going to take it, because as we've said, it's the first game of the season. You want to get started well.
Referee Jackson just resetting the scrum, making sure that both the front rows are square to the other, as Joe Simpson, over 200 appearances for Wasps, but now very much a cherry and white, digs the ball out from the feet of Ruan Ackerman, or at least he tries to, but he knocks on in so doing. A fairly elementary mistake for a high-class scrum half, but the knock-on means it'll be Sales put in, and the chance for Will Cliff to potentially give his side the platform.
Yeah, a chance here for Sale, Chris. They would have been disappointed not to come away with anything in that first 10 minutes, but they've got a chance here. A mistake there from Simpson. They'll be disappointed with that. Such an experienced player, obviously played for Wasps for a very, very long time. Now signed for Gloucester. So we want to pick up a little bit. He had that charge down kick as well earlier on. But no, a big chance for Sale here. Can they get their backs moving?
Hannah's been in touch via hashtag Sharks Live, and she's saying early Movember, or rather Dupree is having an effect, making a point about Denny Salamona, who joined us on Sharks Live pre-match and sporting a very smart moustache for what is currently the back end of October, but will no doubt grow on into November. Free kick given for an infringement at the scrum. Looks like the Gloucester forwards penalised for not setting straight. And interestingly, the decision from John O'Ross is to take the scrum again rather than take a quick tap. So Sale believing they can perhaps exploit an advantage in the tight eight and really turn the screw from the scrum set piece. So we're going to try again. We're on the Gloucester 10-metre line. 14 minutes played here at the AJ Bell. You're listening to Sharks Live with Chris Malaband and Ollie Lathrope. It's Sale Sharks 0, Gloucester Rugby 0. A good crowd here at the AJ Bell. They've had to wait a long time for the first Premiership match to come round this year. But both the two side stands very well attended, and good numbers on the terraces as well, as Sale break away from that scrum. Rob Dupree bursting up the left-hand touchline, getting some support from left winger Byron McGuigan. Short pass from Cliff to Ross Harrison, who looks to try and break the tackle, but Gloucester double up in defence on the Sale tight head, and Cliff has to try again and feeds Beaumont this time, who is brought down again in midfield. Sale not really progressing over the gain line and getting too much geographical joy at the moment. The Gloucester defence is strong. Cliff tries again, still on the Gloucester 10-metre line. Pops it short to Cooper Woolley, who's impressed in the Premiership Rugby Cup. Now it's Jean-Luc Dupree trying to forge his way through. Sale working hard to try and get through the Gloucester tacklers. Dan Dupree to Ross. Quick hands, gets the ball wide to McGuigan. Eventually McGuigan is brought down by Lewis Ludlow. Important tackle from the Gloucester blindside flanker. Now it's Beaumont in midfield, taking his big frame up to the 22-metre line. Cliff feeds Rob Dupree. His attempted kick ahead is charged down by Cipriani, but Dupree gets it back, and now it's Redpath putting a kick through for Ashton to chase, and it's Ollie Thurley who comes out with the ball for Gloucester and sprints up to the 22-metre line. Decent break from Thorley, and now it goes back to Cipriani, who clears left-footed over the halfway line. Chance for Sale to run it back through Simon Hammersley. Hammersley up to the 10-metre. He's one of the great gainers of yardage, and now Van der Merwe's away, running like a flanker. Van der Merwe's pop pass, and Byron McGuigan opens the scoring for Sale. Well, Ollie Lathrope was saying how Van der Merwe plays like a wing forward, and we absolutely saw that aspect of his game there. Van der Merwe's break, his pop pass found McGuigan in support, and McGuigan crashes over. Sale 5, Gloucester 0.
Well, that was excellent, Chris. We saw Van der Merwe earlier on, the impact he can have on the breakdown, but this time it was with ball in hand that he made the effect. He went bursting through the ruck there. No Gloucester defender got near him right till the end, and McGuigan was on hand to finish. That was an excellent try from Sale, and so far it's been the Aka Van der Merwe show.
Van der Merwe really showing a turn of pace. Well, we saw Kyle Sinclair this morning show that front row players can sprint in from more than 5 yards distance, Ollie, and there we saw Van der Merwe getting close to doing the same.
I think front row players now are constantly evolving. We've seen you can't just be a scrummager anymore. You can't just throw the line out, and you've got to offer so much more around the park. And I think that's what Van der Merwe does. He's a hooker first, but he's also almost a flanker as well, as you said earlier. So I think that's exactly what the Sale coaches would want to see, and that's why he's been selected.
Rob Dupree has the straightforward task of launching that between the posts to add the extra 2. So Sale move into a 7-0 lead with Dupree's conversion. And that'll certainly do John O'Ross's men the world of good as we move into the 18th minute of the first half, and Danny Cipriani restarts for Gloucester, flighting that high into the Sale 22. Taken well by Simon Hammersley. Van der Merwe just stands over the back of the ruck, patrolling. Will Cliff waits. You're looking to try and perhaps pop a short pass or try a box kick. It's a box kick from Cliff that goes high up the left-hand touchline. McGuigan got there first and tapped it back. Good Sale recycling of possession as Cliff finds Rob Dupree. Rob Dupree hammers that into space. Cipriani has to turn, so does Ollie Thorley, and the young winger under a little bit of pressure here, but runs it out, finds Cipriani inside his 22, and Cipriani with a poor kick goes straight down the throat of Byron McGuigan, who indicates to Dupree, Rob version, that he's going to kick himself. Dupree sprints past the Scottish winger, but McGuigan's kick was too long, and Gloucester can now break themselves and burst down the left-hand touchline with Ludlow leading the charge. The ball, though, is knocked forward in the tackle, and it's going to be a Sale scrum on their own 10-metre.
It's just important here for Sale to make sure they don't concede straight away. We see so often in rugby teams score and then they give up points almost immediately. So they just need to stay on form, do what they've been doing so far. They've built well through the forwards, and when they've needed to, they've gone wide. They've used the likes of Ashton, they've used the likes of McGuigan. And I think they're going to have to do that a lot today, because there's some expansive players out there are so dangerous, especially on the break.
So scrummage for Sale just inside their own half. You're listening to Sale Sharks Live with Ollie Lathrop and Chris Malaband as we near the halfway point in the first 40 minutes. Opening Gallagher Premiership action of the season. And Sale Sharks, having had an immaculate Premiership Rugby Cup campaign, the total opposite really to Gloucester, who lost all 4 of their matches. Although it must be said they rarely fielded their strongest side. Most of the Gloucester starting 15 today only played once. Most of the Sale side had 3 appearances, and once again we see the Sale scrum too strong for Gloucester. The Gloucester scrum starting to wheel, and Sale winning the penalty.
Yeah, that was a great moment there for Sale. Their scrum has been solid so far in the Prem Cup games. I know Steve Dime recruited heavily at prop in the summer, and we can see it there. They really got on top of the Gloucester pack, and another opportunity for Sale to attack in the Gloucester 22.
So once more the Sale forwards walk forward, ready for this line out. The Sale defence hasn't been unduly tested yet by the Gloucester backs. They've got a decent set of 3/4 today, Gloucester, with the likes of 12 Trees and Woodward and Thorley in there. But as yet, Danny Cipriani hasn't had much opportunity to really get them going. Sale claim the line out and drive forward successfully from the maul. Good driving maul, and spinning off it comes Ben Curry, perhaps inspired by his twin brother's man of the match performance for England this morning against Australia. Here goes a little short pop pass to John O'Ross, who's brought down in the chop tackle, but referee Jackson has seen an infringement. We're coming back for the penalty. And this is going to give an opportunity for potentially Rob Dupree to add 3 more points to the Sale tally. It is, though, wide out on the right. What do you think, Ollie? Is Dupree going to go for the posts here or kick to the corner?
Well, it looks like we're seeing Sam James going to the corner here, Chris, which is an interesting tactic, especially this early in the game. You might have thought that Sale wants to build that score and keep accumulating the points, but it seems they're going to go for the try and sort of going for the kill here.
Yeah, Sam James, left-footed kicker, so with us being wide on the right-hand side, just helps a little bit with the angle, and James manages to kick successfully down the touchline to give the opportunity for a line out, but there's a few running repairs going on at the moment, so there's a short break in play. We'll get a chance to respond to Darren Holiday. Hello Darren, good to have you with us. And he says Acker is going to lead Sale to the title with a ZA and a shark afterwards. So Darren Holiday enjoying Acker van der Merwe's early promise. Ollie and I were just chatting before the game, and as the 30 players ran out here this afternoon, 10 of them, Ollie, South African born.
Yeah, and they're having a big impact so far, Chris. We've seen Van der Merwe, who's had an unbelievable start to the game, but we also see the Dupree brothers as well. They've had a big effect on the Sale team, and yeah, it's certainly been the South African show so far.
4 South Africans in the Gloucester side as well, so a real opportunity to see some players from the other side of the world here this afternoon as Sale drive it forward once more from that successful line out. It's all Sale at the moment. Cooper Woolley driving forward up to the line. Referee Jackson having a good look at this one. It's a short pop pass to Curry. The Sale fans shout Sale, Sale all around the stadium. They know their team are in the ascendancy and have the chance to try and press home their advantage. Unfortunately, though, the ball is knocked forward in the tackle. Gloucester defending their line well. And we're going to go back for a scrum. And that Sale attack comes to an end, but referee Jackson going back for the earlier offence. Gloucester offside, and so once more Sam James can just stab that ball into touch. It'll be another Sale line out 5 metres from the Gloucester line.
Yeah, there's a big chance here, Chris, for Sale. 7-0 up already. If they can double that advantage here 20 minutes into the game, it's going to be a long way back for Gloucester. I know it would only be 14 points, but it's such a tight game with such evenly matched sides. A score here could really be important for Sale.
Van der Merwe needs to get his call right and pick out his man. Will it be Beaumont or Jean-Luc Dupree who's at the front? Will he go longer? It's a ball to the front, and Sale's line out lets them down. Gloucester read it and stole the ball at the front of the line out. Disappointment for Steve Diamond's side there as Gloucester managed to get a steal through captain Ed Slater. And now there's a chance for Joe Simpson to organise his troops and potentially line up Cipriani to kick the ball away and give Gloucester a bit of a breather on their line. But Simpson trusts his own box kick and launches that up the left-hand touchline and takes Gloucester out of their own 22.
And once more, Ollie, we've seen now Sale twice have been close to the Gloucester line with a 5-metre throw, not been able to execute on either occasion.
Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed with that, Chris. As we've said, they've had so much territory and so much possession so far, and they really should be further than 7-0 ahead. A couple of mistakes on the line hasn't helped their cause, and Gloucester are hanging on here. And we know with a team like Gloucester, they can hit you from anywhere with someone like Cipriani. So Sale, next time they're up there, they really do need to come away with points.
Van der Merwe throws again. Once more, the line-out looks a bit sloppy, and Sale are having to feed on the scraps a bit, and once more Gloucester have disrupted. So the line-out is not giving the Sale Sharks the platform that they'd want. It's the one aspect of their game that they haven't really sorted in the first 25 minutes or so. And once more, Gloucester get bonus ball, which they can clear upfield through Simpson. It's fielded by Ashton, 5 metres inside his own half. Chris Ashton's been in try-scoring form in the Premiership Rugby Cup in the early weeks of the season, and he's solid there under that high ball. Will Cliff waits, looks for an option short, and finds one in Dan Duprier, standing off the ruck. Cliff has another look as Sale loiter just 5 metres inside their own half, and Cliff kicks left-footed, gets rather under that, as plenty are going to compete for this one. And looked like a Gloucester knock-on. Indeed it was. And that's going to come Sale's way. And the knock-on was fielded by another Gloucester player. So what otherwise would have been a Sale scrum becomes a penalty. And once more, Sam James can move across and drill this up the right-hand touchline left-footed. And once more, Sale Ollie can enjoy some very promising territory deep in the Gloucester 22.
Yeah, it feels like we've been at this side of the pitch for almost the entire first half, Chris. Sale have really been dominant in terms of territory, but the one thing that's probably let them down so far is their line-out. They've lost a couple, as well as Aka van der Merwe's playing. His throw-in hasn't quite gone to plan, so they want to get this one right and try and build an attacking opportunity.
So Van der Merwe stands over this one, goes to the back of the line-out this time. That's much more solid ball secured by Beaumont as Sale look to go through Sam James on the crash, right in the midfield. Cliff recycles, pops it short to Cooper Woolley, the former Wasp, who's already established himself here at Sale. Lovely pass inside from Rob Duprier, very, very slick hands to try and release Redpath. But Sale are back in possession once more with a pile-up in a maul on the Gloucester 22. Ball is slow to achieve, and it might be that Gloucester have turned this over, and they have. And once more again, it was Jaco Creel, the 11-time South African cap flanker, who was scurrying at the breakdown and managing to win that turnover. It's going to be a Gloucester scrum on their 22.
More good defence there from Gloucester. They might not have been at their best so far, but they are hanging on in this game, and that's what the good teams do well. They're stopping Sale from getting the ball out to the wingers in Ashton and McGuigan, who can really do the damage, and sort of limiting them to infield carries, and Sale are just making mistakes on the 22, and that's a slight concern, but you have to give some respect to Gloucester. They've defended well. They are hanging on a little bit, but they're only 7-0 down, and anything can happen from here.
Yes, I'm sure Steve Diamond will be a little frustrated that his side haven't managed to get more dividends for the amount of possession and territory they've enjoyed for most of the first 28 minutes of this game. Sale Sharks 7, Gloucester 0. You're listening to Sharks Live. Good to have you with us live from the AJ Bell on a overcast but decent afternoon for rugby. Pitch in very good condition as you'd expect at this time in the season, and of course Sale coming into this game with lots of new blood in the side, lots of expectation in the stands, and with 4 wins out of 4 in the Premiership Rugby Cup just to add to the positivity as this season gets underway. The first of 22 matches, of course, in the Gallagher Premiership, but it's the Sale front row who are penalised for collapsing the scrum there by referee Jackson. It's going to be a Gloucester penalty from their 22.
Yes, again, Sale will be disappointed there. They've gone into the Gloucester half and they haven't come away with anything, but there'll be some relief in that Gloucester camp. They really haven't managed to get anything going in attack. They've hardly had any ball. They have got a chance here, just shy of the halfway line, to get something going.
Keep your tweets coming in to us with the hashtag SharksLive, and myself, Chris Malaband, and Ollie Lathrope will read those out as they come in during the game. Please interact with us on Sharks Live here today. We're here for every home game at the AJ Bell this season in the Gallagher Premiership, as Cipriani looks to inject pace through the middle of the Gloucester midfield, breaks the initial gain line. We're up to the Sale 10 metre, but then there's some poor hands and Sale can get it back. Ashton manages to pick up the scraps, and suddenly John O'Ross's side are on the front foot again. Dan Dupree drops in as scrum half, pops it up to Ross Harrison. Harrison in that familiar headband drives it up to the 10 metre. Cliff recycles to Rob Dupree, out to Byron McGuigan, a flat pass which has no real pace on it. McGuigan has to run round and cut back inside to try and set up another ruck and give his side a platform. And offside coming against Jack O'Creel, coming in from the wrong side. He gets a slap on the back from Byron McGuigan, as players often love to do when opponents infringe, and it's going to be a Sale penalty. And this time, Ollie Lathrope, Rob Dupree is going to have a go for the posts.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision, Chris. We've seen a couple of times Sale have had penalties and gone to the corner, and it hasn't quite worked out. But I think it's important when you do get the chances to come away with points, and they've got that opportunity here. And Rob Dupree is usually pretty reliable off the tee, so I think this is a sensible option.
Well, Sale are going to have options all over the pitch this season. We know that through the recruitment that Steve Diamond and his scouting team have done through the close season. And AJ McGinty, of course, will be back in the mix very soon. Just returned from the World Cup with America. But Rob Dupree, you'd think, would start as the first choice 10 for Steve Diamond. But with a European Cup campaign to resource for, as well as potentially 2 more Cup matches in the Premiership Rugby Cup. Lots of rugby to be played, and there's bound to be some rotation. Rob Dupree then stands over this penalty, about 20 yards in from the left-hand touchline, just behind the Gloucester 10 metres, so he's some way out, the South African. 1 from 1 so far this afternoon with that conversion. Here comes Dupree, right-footed, looks a decent connection. Is the angle right? Up go the flags of the 2 touch judges, JP Doyle and Rob Warburton. And a solid connection from Rob Dupree moves Sharks into double figures. It's Sale Sharks 10, Gloucester 0 after 31 minutes.
I think that's exactly what Sale were looking for there. They've had the chances in the Gloucester 22, it hasn't quite worked out. But when you get another opportunity, kick the points, extend the lead and force Gloucester to come from behind.
Danny Cipriani with a long left-footed restart, which is comfortable for Simon Hammersley to thump down the touchline. Now that's going to lead to a Gloucester line-out on the Sale 10 metre. Just under 9 minutes to play in this first half. Sale have had the better of it. As we were saying, the only real point of execution that's been found wanting has been the line out thus far. But that try by Byron McGuigan, made by Aka van der Merwe, converted by Rob Dupree, together with Dupree's recent penalty, giving Sale the advantage. And now it's the Gloucester line out that comes up short, the throw not straight from Franco Murray, their South African hooker, and it's going to be a Sale scrum on their own 10 metre line.
About 8 minutes to go here, Chris. It's been an interesting first half, actually. Neither side has really got going in the sense of any fluency. I think Sale have definitely had the better of it, if it hasn't quite shown on the scoreboard. And it's important here Sale don't give anything up in these final 8 minutes, because I think it would be unrepresentative of the first half if Gloucester were to go and get a try here before half-time comes around.
Wilcliffe then stands over this scrum, just returned from injury. Wilcliffe, over 160 appearances for the Sharks across his 2 spells, and enjoying the chance to start with Faf de Klerk away on World Cup duty. He pops it short to Chris Ashton, who punches a hole in the Gloucester midfield, and now Sale can move it away through Sam James to Byron McGuigan. McGuigan's attempted chip ahead to try and beat the cover from Jason Woodward. Unfortunately doesn't match the idea that was a very good one. McGuigan's right-footed kick going straight out, and it will be a Gloucester line out halfway between their 10 metre line and their 22.
A lovely passage of play there from Sale there, Chris. They worked it through the backs nicely, a nice move in. McGuigan coming down this left-hand touchline. It looked as if the kick would be the right option. There was a couple of Sale players on the inside, but it wasn't quite executed properly and has gone straight out on the full, and a chance for Gloucester to build something.
Franco Murray, the South African hooker, formerly with the Natal Sharks, throws into the line out, and excellently stolen at the front by Dan Duprier, who read the throw. Neither side can really make the line out their own at this point. Plenty are going against the throw, and it's Sale in possession on the 10-metre line, with Will Cliff looking to ferret for that ball on the deck. He can't get there, but Van der Merwe helps him out as a temporary scrum half to keep the next ruck moving. Cliff in possession. Goes to Harrison on halfway, as ever offering an option in the backs, often at first receiver, just to try and suck in a few defenders and give Sale another few metres in the early phase. Now it's Duprier, a lovely chip over the top, finds McGuigan, a lovely ball inside, finds Cliff on the overlap. Fantastic move from Sale. Duprier to McGuigan to Cliff. Now Sale move up into the Gloucester 22. What can they do here? The ball is spun to Cooper Woolley, who rumbles forward to try and make a couple of metres. Now John O'Ross on the burst in his characteristic headband, continues the attack. Multiple phases from Sale. Curry to Rob Duprier, trying to wriggle his way through the cover. Sale are 10 metres out. Cliff waits. Options right, options left. He goes right, finds Dan Duprier, who finds Redpath, who finds Chris Ashton. And there's the finish from Chris Ashton. It might need the TMO, it will need the TMO, but if the TMO says yes, then Sale lead by 15-0.
That was excellent, Chris. It was all started by Rob Duprier. That chip over the top was collected by McGuigan, who burst into the 22, and then it was worked well there from Sale. A couple of forwards carried it up, and it went wide out to Ashton, who looks to have scored in the corner. We are checking it on the TMO, and it could potentially have been knocked out of his hand by Joe Simpson. We're just checking that again, but either way, it was excellent play from Sale.
Yeah, that's the adjudication, isn't it? Did Simpson get his hand under the ball as Ashton put it down? I don't think there's a risk here that Ashton was a foot in touch. It's simply whether or not Simpson managed to get between the ball and the grounding. We're onto a super slow-mo now. Has Ashton got that down before Simpson's hand came in? Very, very hard to call. Sean Davies, the man who's got to call it. He is the TMO this afternoon, and he rules it out. Sean Davies saw enough doubt. Great cover from Joe Simpson. Undoubtedly saves the try.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. Ashton was, you thought he was in then. Chris Ashton, as he often does, he gets in those positions and he finishes them. But that's an unbelievable defence from Simpson on his Premiership debut to get across and deny the England winger the try.
Could that be a key moment in the game? We'll know that in about an hour's time. At the moment, Sale have got 5 minutes left in the first half. 15-0, which might have gone to 17-0, and it's a heck of a way back for Gloucester. 10-0, well, it's a converted try and a penalty. Very different hue, but Sale can still try and turn the screw here. They've enjoyed the better of the scrummages so far, and they've got a 5 metre to try and take advantage of. Keep your messages coming to us using the hashtag SharksLive as we close out this first half. What are your reflections on the opening 35 minutes? Are you encouraged by what you're hearing in terms of Sale's opening 35 minutes to the season? Well, that scrum's gone down, and it's a free kick that's gone against Sale. And again, Ollie, frustration for Steve Diamond in close quarters to the Gloucester line that Sale haven't been able to turn the screw.
Yeah, it will be, Chris. You know, they've had so much possession, so much territory. We've said it a few times before, and it feels like they should be sort of 20, 25 points up here. They've been that dominant, but Gloucester have hung in there well, and you can see why they're a good side. To finish in the top four, you need to be able to defend well. You need to be able to stop teams scoring tries when perhaps you're not playing as well yourself. And I think Sale are going to be really disappointed with that, and to only be leading 10-0 with all the possession and all the territory is disappointing.
Now, Gloucester have backed their own scrummage here because they've elected to take the scrum from the free kick rather than tapping and hammering the ball upfield, or tapping and keeping the ball short and looking to their forwards to recycle. 4 minutes left in this first half, so Joe Simpson puts the ball in for the visitors, and it's a clean heel, although the Sale twist on the ball. Well, Ben Curry burst forward there on the ball as it emerged, dived on the ball, claimed a try. Referee Andrew Jackson was not interested and had already blown his whistle. And we're going to reset the scrum again. But Sale getting the twist on in that scrum. It wheeled very quickly, Ollie, and for a moment there I'm sure Gloucester had hearts in mouth.
Well, that scrum has summed up how it's been in the forwards so far. Sale have been so dominant, especially at scrum time. You can see with the front three that they selected that it was a strong front three. It was going to be strong at the set piece, and it works well there. And we thought Curry was in, but as has been in this first half, that final moment just before Sale were about to score the try, he's knocked on, and Gloucester have another chance to clear their lines.
Once more, Joe Simpson will put in, member of the England World Cup squad back in 2011. 31 years old now, Simpson, but still one of the most reliable and leading scrum halves in the Premiership. He encourages his forward pack forward and pops the ball short to Cipriani, and Gloucester have decided to run this from behind their own line. Here they come bursting out of the 22, and this is very enterprising. Jason Woodward, their New Zealand-born fullback, driving it forward, and plenty of enterprise here from a team who we know like to throw the ball around. And Gloucester have managed to exit up as far as their 22-metre, and they've maintained possession. It seems so odd, Ollie, watching our Gloucester team playing in all light blue. I'm so used to seeing the cherry and white down the ears. I don't quite know how light blue is less of a colour clash to all dark blue, which Sale are playing in, than a red and white hoop, but there you go.
Oh, well, yes. I think there'll be a couple of times today where we might get a little bit confused. As you said, we're so used to seeing the cherry and white, and I'm slightly surprised why we haven't seen that today.
12 Trees looks to get Ollie Thorley into the action, spinning the ball wide out to the left-hand side. Grey clouds scudder across the top of the AJ Bell. We know we might see a bit of rain later, but thus far it's stayed dry. Good conditions for handling. But an infringement there brings a Sale scrummage. Knock on in the tackle. And once more, Gloucester's attempt at building any momentum comes to an early halt. We did say before the game, Ollie, that the decision by Gloucester to give so few of their first team much game time in the Premiership Rugby Cup could go one of two ways. And they do look a team at the moment who look early season rusty.
Absolutely, and of course Sale went the opposite way. Some of their players played 4 games. I know Sam James played all 4 games. Ben Curry started 4 games. So they're up to speed. They've got no rustiness to them, and perhaps, you know, Gloucester could have used that Prem Rugby Cup period a little bit differently. I believe Cipriani only played once. So there does look a bit of rustiness out there, and there's been a few errors from Gloucester, and whilst their defence has kept them in it, you don't envisage this is going to be able to hold on for the entire second half as well. It's a long old game when you're constantly defending, and I think at half-time they're going to need to settle down a little bit, because it really has been all Sale, and it should be more than 10-0 in reality.
A few of the Sale faithful heading to get to the front of the half-time queues for tea or a pie or whatever they might want. We've got a minute and a half left on the clock. It's been mainly Sale in this first half, but as Ollie says, just not quite the scoreboard dividends to match the way in which Sale have played the game and the territory they've enjoyed. But they have still got this last set piece to try and build something from, because they've got a scrum on the Gloucester 22, but they've conceded a penalty. Once more, Andrew Jackson not happy that Sale were driving straight. That went against Jake Cooper-Woolley, believed to be burrowing in at the scrummage by referee Jackson, and that gives Gloucester the opportunity to clear. And that's really been the pattern of the first half, mainly Sale territory, but when Sale have got themselves in a really good position, either an error or an infringement, and that gives Gloucester the chance to release the pressure valve and get themselves back upfield. We're on the Sale 10-metre line, last minute of play in the first half, and Gloucester managed to secure their own ball through Gerbrat Grobler, and Grobler doing a decent job in giving his side a bit of decent first phase ball. Now Gloucester on the attack. Sale want to make sure they see this out and get to half-time, 10 points to the good. There goes Cipriani pirouetting through the middle, bringing in the blonde mop of Billy 12 Trees. Simpson then pops it short to Ed Slater. This is Gloucester's best period of the half, and Jamal Ford-Robinson perhaps showing why tight head props ought not to loiter in three-quarter lines too often, as he drops the ball as he joins the move, and that ought to give Sale the chance to close out this first half, because they're going to have a scrum inside their own 22 with the clock run down. I'm sure this will give either Will Cliff the opportunity or Rob Dupree to kick the ball into touch and to bring about the half-time whistle.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what we're going to see there, Chris. I can't imagine Sale trying anything from their own 22, and I think they'll be relieved there of a mistake from Jamal Ford-Robinson, and it would have been disappointed to concede there after all the hard work Sale have done earlier in the half to establish this lead. So I imagine we'll see the scrum. Will Cliff will pop this into touch, and we'll go in for half-time.
So the scrum sets just on the 22-metre line as Sale look to just try and secure this 10-point half-time lead. Cliff puts the ball in and it comes straight out, and from Cliff's pass Dupria clears into the printerland.co.uk stand, and that is half-time at the AJ Bell. Sale with a lead by 10 points to 0. An early try from Byron McGuigan after an excellent burst from Aka van der Merwe, which was converted by Rob Dupria, backed up by a Dupria penalty just after the half-hour mark. It's been mainly Sale in terms of possession and territory. The only frustration, Ollie Lathrope, the lack of points on the board that have come from it.
Absolutely, Chris. It's been all Sale. They've been in the Gloucester half for most of that half, and you know, they've had a couple of times where they've been over the line and it's been knocked on or knocked away by a Gloucester player. But they are ahead. They are 10-0 up. It's the first game of the season. Not everything's going to go right. So they'll be happy in that sense, but they will be disappointed. They haven't quite managed to get that final pass. And in the second half, Gloucester are going to come out better. We know that. They've had 40 minutes under their belt now. So Sale are going to just have to hope that they don't rue those missed chances.
If we look at the stats from the first half, Gloucester have made 69 tackles to 50, so that reflects the Sale dominance really in terms of possession. Line-outs lost is an interesting stat, though. Sale have lost 4 of their throws and Gloucester 2 of theirs, so neither of them really executing well from the line-outs. And the defenders beaten stat, well, that really shows you that Sale have had most of the back play. 23 defenders beaten for Sale, just 1 for Gloucester. So it's been Sale who've had the ascendancy in the backs. They just haven't had the points that really reflect their dominance. But they do have the lead. Half-time here at the AJ Bell. It's Sale Sharks 10, Gloucester 0.
Okay, welcome back. That was a great first half, 10 up, exactly where we want to be at this point in time. Joe, how's it been? It's been a great game.
It's been a great game, judging by that guy. He's loving it as well. It's been an exciting first half. I think it was very important for Sale Sharks to be the first team to get on the score sheet. They wanted that sort of the nerves of this being the first Premiership game. They wanted to get the try. They wanted to seal that. And holding that sort of 10-0 lead into the first half. Hopefully then they regroup now. Colchester, you didn't see much threat for them at all in the first half. So I'm hoping that, you know, a nice little comfortable second half. Happy days.
Great. Listen, if you've got more questions, sorry, I'm over there. If you've got more questions, hashtag Sale Sharks, Sharks Live. Get us on all the social channels. Just an update from the rest of the Premiership. Exeter 13, Harlequins 8, Saracens 16, Northampton 21, Worcester 15, Leicester Tigers 13. Stay tuned. If you need to go for a wee, get it done now. Stay tuned. A bit of half-time entertainment for you, and we'll be right back.
He's so low.
To the next home game. How do you feel about that?
Great. Is this drop goal or kick?
I think we should go for a drop goal. What do you reckon?
Yeah, fair enough.
No, this is good times.
This is
good time. This is 40.
They say behind every great man is a great woman, and within Sam, I found the love of my life, my best friend, and today I just want to ask you something really special. Really? Really?
You twat.
Really?
Yes. But why did you just gonna make me feel sick now? I love you.
Really?
You fucking
Is that a yes? Is that a yes?
Yes. Yes.
She said yes!
You can't even get it on. You absolute twat. I love you.
I love
You fucking cunt. Oh, thank you. A little something to
Oh, cheers.
thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Now do you feel a bit better? No. I'm not.
Go on.
I feel sick.
Don't go anywhere for us just yet. Just wait where you are. We're live on Sail Sharks Facebook pages. Okay, so sorry for happy.
Yeah.
I think we're all very happy right now. Actually, how do you feel?
Sharks.
Very shocked. So just one quick thing. Just put your hand up. Just put your hand on top for me.
I bite my nails, so I
No,
don't
that's
really.
fine. We won't show them. Just put your hand on top there. That is the last time you will now get the upper hand, my friend. Okay. Just letting you know that. Okay. Listen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Congratulations, South Sharks. Have a big cheer for them, please. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for the second half. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll see you right back shortly.
Well done.
Okay, welcome back. Not about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to be back the second half. I'm just joined by some fans here. Hi guys, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Which team? Where are you from? Which club?
Chester.
Chester. You from Chester as well?
Yeah.
Which team do you play for?
Chester.
Which age group?
Pardon?
Which age grades do you play for?
Under 13.
Under 13s. You look like a professional to me. Do you play yourself, sir?
No, I coach.
What do you think of the game so far?
Awesome. Great start to the season, isn't it? Superb.
We've been looking forward to this game for a long time, haven't we? With all the new signings and things like that. Who's your favourite player?
Rob de Freer.
Mine too. Guys, thank you very much for that. Everybody home there. So everybody home. Hello, how you doing? Let's join Ollie and Chris for the second half commentary.
And a very warm welcome back to the AJ Bell Stadium. We are approaching the second half here. Sale are currently leading Gloucester by 10 points to 0. An interesting first half. Sale dominated most of it, if without getting the rewards on the scoreboard. They did cross over for a try through Byron McGuigan after good work from Aka van der Merwe, and a penalty from Rob de Preer extended that lead to 10-0. But that's all they have to show for a first half, Chris, where they were pretty dominant.
Well, they were, Ollie. I mean, we said before the game that there was this division, really, of thought between Steve Diamond taking the perspective that his players should use the Premiership Rugby Cup as an opportunity to really get match fitness and work on combinations and be ready for today as the start of the season. The Gloucester coach, Johan Ackermann, has taken the view that many of the other coaches have, which is to use largely a developmental side in that competition and to be very sparing with the usage of his first choice players. And that first half showed a performance from Gloucester which I thought reflected that. You know, a number of those players did not appear to be as sharp as you might expect. They looked like a side that had only played 40 minutes of rugby together, or maybe just a little bit more. And I think Sale had the advantage of the fact that so many of these players had played together over the last month, and they'd also enjoyed 4 victories. And we always hear in sport that momentum is a massive thing, and if you get into the winning habit, it's a really positive thing. So I think Sale absolutely had the better of that first half. I'm sure there have been harsh words spoken in the Gloucester dressing room at half-time, but this game is still far from won. A 10-point lead is certainly handy. It's not match-winning, so it could well be a very different Gloucester, Ollie, in this second half.
Absolutely, Chris. As we get underway in the second half here at the AJ Bell Stadium, the rain has started to fall, so that could change things up a little bit as Gloucester kick off. Well taken by Jean-Luc de Preer, just outside his own 22. Sale looking to set up for what looks to be a box kick, leading 10-0 after a pretty promising first half performance, even if it did come without the points. As the ball sits at the back of the ruck, and Cliff looks to kick. And it's a high kick that Ashton looks to chase. Woodward is trying to get under it for Gloucester, and he takes that well, but he's caught well in the tackle by Ross and de Preer, and a chance for Gloucester here early in this second half. They build up through the forwards. That's Ruskin. He drives into the Sale defence. Here's Simpson again, out to Cipriani, to 12 trees. Gloucester go wide, Atkinson with the ball in hand. As they just pass the halfway line into Sale territory. Gloucester starting to build something here, just 1 minute into this second half. Good defence there from Jake Cooper-Woolley. Just pushing the Gloucester attack back, and Simpson has to take the ball just on the halfway line. And Cipriani looks to kick, but he slipped, and he goes straight into the hands of Byron McGuigan, who can kick clear here, as Cipriani has to scamper back as the ball goes towards his own line, but he collects it, he clears the ball. Not a great kick from Cipriani, straight into the hands of Rob Dupria, and we might see a bit of kick tennis here as Dupria kicks it up. Hammersley chasing. Simpson trying to get underneath. That's great work from Hammersley. He taps it back, but it's gone straight into a Gloucester hand, and Gloucester have a chance to build something else here. 2 minutes into the second half as Cipriani looks to kick. That looks to be an excellent kick from the Cipriani. It goes into touch just shy of the Sale 22. And Chris, perhaps a change of tactic there from Gloucester, trying to play for territory in the second half.
Yeah, it was quite messy, wasn't it, Ollie? There was a few kicks that were returned and then kicked up the middle again, and eventually Cipriani put a bit of quality in there to hit that kick through on the bounce. It was an end-over-end kick, which ended up going out into the 22-metre line. So a decent bit of territory for Gloucester, but Sale do have the advantage of the throw.
And a line out here for Selby van der Merwe to throw in, just shy of the 20, just shy of their own 22. Van der Merwe enjoyed an excellent first half, helped setting up the first Sale try, but it's been stolen by Gloucester, and a chance here for them to try and build something. It come through the forwards. Franco Murray with the carry into the Sale 22. Gloucester recycle. Out to Cipriani. It bounced on its way to him, but Gloucester keep the ball outside the Sale 22 now, but it was a knock-on, and a chance here for Sale to have the scrum just outside their own 22 and clear their lines. Just a reminder, we are here on #SharksLive. If you want to get involved in the conversation, we'll be here before every Gallagher Premiership home game at the AJ Bell Stadium. We'll next be here in November for the visit of Wasps on a Friday night. Friday night fixtures always do well here at the AJ Bell Stadium. So if you're not here today, make sure you get down here for that. That's sure to be another very exciting match, as there's a break in play with Gloucester player down on the field. We can't quite see who it is from our position, but a chance here for both sides to take their breath as we're just 3 minutes into the second half.
Another handling error, though, Ollie, wasn't it, by Gloucester in attack? And I think, again, it's just another bit of evidence for some of those early season combinations not quite working. One or two bits of play that the Gloucester players will have said, well, in training or in a more established part of the season, they'd be putting together those phases and enjoying successful combinations, and Sale will have the opportunity with a scrum to clear their lines. And I think important in this start of this second half, Ollie, that Sale do impose themselves early on. An early Gloucester score suddenly changes the dynamic. If Sale score next and score a try, then 15, potentially 17-0 is a very big margin. It's a long way back for Gloucester, particularly away from home. If Gloucester score next, then suddenly 10-7, it's very much game on. So important scrum for Sale on their own 22. Good chance to clear their lines.
And that scrum is just setting up now. Sale deep inside their own half on the 22-metre line. They want to clear this and try and get back to the kind of territory they had in that first half, because they haven't quite enjoyed that so far. A good start from Gloucester, who have come out in this second half with a lot more intensity, looking to get the territory and build some possession, as Will Cliff has the ball in his hands in the scrum. And the ball comes in from Cliff. A relatively solid scrum from the Sharks. It's controlled well at the back by Dupria. And the Sharks start to get the drive on. An excellent scrum, but it looks like Simpson has put a foot in there and it's dropped out the back of the scrum, but Ross manages to collect it, and there was a knock on there, and a massive opportunity now for Gloucester. Simpson has been an absolute nightmare in and around the scrum so far. He helped almost create that try earlier in the first half, and he stopped Ashton from scoring in the first half. But Chris, Simpson, it's been a bit of a thorn in Sale's side so far.
Well, rugby players now talk more and more about good exits, Ollie, don't they? Getting a good exit, and that's exactly what Sale didn't manage to achieve there. Simpson got his foot in, it was all very scrappy. John O'Ross had to dive on the ball, and then Gloucester have ended up getting a scrum in a very prominent position. So once more, down to a bit of execution for Sale. We've seen that they've come up short with a couple of those line-outs in the first half. On that occasion, they couldn't get a clean exit from their own scrum. And now it's a very different position, because Gloucester, 10 metres out in a central location with the put-in, will fancy their chances here.
And here's Simpson with ball in hand on his Premiership debut today. Made over 230 appearances for Wasps during his time down at the Ricoh Arena. Of course, Wasps did play at Stockport for a bit before that, but he won't get the chance to put the ball into the scrum as Sale win the penalty. And a chance here for James to come up, clear the lines, relieve some of the pressure, because it really has been all Gloucester in this second half so far. A role reversal of what we saw in the first half. And a chance here for James to clear the lines, relieve some of that pressure and settle down the Sale team that hasn't quite got going so far in this second period, as James's kick is a good one as he moves the Sharks up towards half line, just shy of the halfway line, and a chance now for Sale to build their first attacking opportunity of the second half.
Don't forget to keep interacting with the commentary team through the second half using the hashtag #SharksLive. Lorraine did that a few moments ago and was enjoying Sale's first half performance and the marriage proposal at half time. So thank you, Lorraine, for getting in touch.
And a scrappy line out there for Sale. Van der Merwe's throw didn't quite go to plan, but they have managed to keep the ball. It's Ben Curry drives just over the halfway line. Cliff out to Ashton down this right-hand side. Josh Beaumont drives up into the Gloucester pack. Beaumont playing in the second row today rather than at number 8. And here's Cliff again to Jean-Luc Dupria. A good handoff from him. A great carry from him, but he looks like he might be dragged into touch. No, he isn't. It's kept in field. And here's Rob Dupria. John O'Rosh carries. A big tackle on him. The ball's kept in the ruck, and it looks like Gloucester have been penalised, and they have. It's Ruan Ackerman not rolling away, and a chance here for Gloucester to build, Sale to build some territory with 6 minutes into the second half. The score currently 10-0. Remember, it was early in the game that Akker van der Merwe burst through the Gloucester defence and put Byron McGuigan in to score. Rob Dupree converted, and he also added a penalty, meaning Sale currently lead 10-0, 7 minutes into the second half, with a chance here to build an attacking opportunity.
Well, first time Sale have really got into Gloucester territory in the second period, so needing to get this line out moving, which wasn't always reliable in the first half. Van der Merwe's combinations need to be slick here to give Sale that platform and see if they can add to this lead.
And here comes Sale then. Comes out the back of them all, is Curry. His pass to no one. Here comes James. Into the 22, he bursts through. Good tackle from Gloucester there. Here comes Sale again. It's Dan Dupria. Gloucester scrambling a bit here. What can Sale do? Cliff there at the back of the ruck again. It's to Ross. Chance of Sale around the AJ Bell Stadium. What can the home side do here? They have a penalty advantage. It's to Cooper Woolley. He drives forward. Jamal Ford-Robinson holding him up, but Sale continue to move forward. But nothing coming from that. Gloucester penalised right in front of their own posts. An easy kick here for Rob Dupria if he were to choose to go for the 3 points, and a chance for Sale to extend their lead.
And you'd think, Ollie, that Rob Dupria would go for the posts here, because with the lead still needing to be built out and with this being bang in front, it's pretty much nailed on 3 points. And in fact, the South African electing to go for the post. So Sale highly likely to move into a 13-point lead here early in the second half. But yeah, still a game that's sprinkled with errors and infringements, really. It does have an early season feel about it, but Sale overall coming out on top in the skirmishes. It looks like we're going to see a fair emptying of the Sale bench in a moment. Rob Webber is readied beneath us, Bryn Evans as well, and I think Will Griff John, Cooney Oosthuizen, so lots of Sale changes likely. And I would have thought we might well see something similar from Johan Ackerman.
And there's a simple kick here for Dupria, just needs to knock this one over, and that would give Sale a 13-point lead. We've seen Steve Diamond talk quite a lot in pre-season about the new enforcements he's got, a chance to rest him, rotate players, and it looks like we will see the bench emptied here. Not before Dupria converts a simple penalty, and Sale extend their lead to 13-0, and we do see those replacements. It looks like it is Rob Webber, Cooney Oosthuizen, Bryn Evans all coming on, Jake Cooper-Woolley, Akker van der Merwe and Ross Harrison all coming off, along with Josh Beaumont.
Yeah, early in the game, Ollie, to empty the bench quite as significantly as that, but Steve Diamond obviously having complete faith in his bench to play the full half an hour. So 31 minutes still to play, and Sale using 4 of their 8 replacements.
And here comes Sale. The ball came to them off the kick-off, and they'll look to drive through them all here. Well held up by Gloucester as the ball goes to floor. Just shy of the Sale 10-metre line in. It looks as if Cliff will look to kick here. Set up well, a group of Sale forwards on the back of the ruck, and Cliff kicks high. It's high and hanging, it hasn't got much distance on it as Woodward comes to claim it, and he makes an excellent catch, does Woodward, and a chance for Gloucester to build here. Here's Simpson, out to 12 trees. He looks to kick. It looks a decent one, it bounces out just shy of the Sale 22. A good kick from 12 trees, but it will be a Sale ball as just outside their 22.
Yeah, making a whole change to the front row. It'd be interesting to see the first scrummage, Ollie. I mean, the difference here, perhaps in previous years at Sale, the replacement front row haven't always had the experience. And if you look at who's coming on now, Rob Webber, 16 caps, Cooney Oosthuizen, 30 caps for South Africa, and Will Griff-John, who didn't miss a game last year for Sale in the front row. So a really powerful replacement front row on. And obviously Bryn Evans, an All Black, coming on for Josh Bowman. So an immediate indication of what Sale have got in terms of depth this year.
No problems with that line out there for Sale as Cliff clears his line. A much better kick from Cliff, but it's well taken. And Gloucester have the chance to build something here on the halfway line. 10 minutes into this second half, Sale Sharks 13, Gloucester 0 in this opening weekend of the Gallagher Premiership. Of course, we had 4 Prem Cup games before this, but it's been all about the Premiership today and the return of top-flight rugby in England as Gloucester build. Here's Cipriani, a chip over the top. It's a nice kick from Cipriani, and it's collected well by Marshall, and they burst through Gloucester. Back to Cipriani, to Woodward. He's just hauled short of the line by Ashton, but a brilliant offload by Cipriani, and Mark Atkinson dots down for Gloucester. Back in the game with the West Country outfit, and it was all Danny Cipriani. Sale fans know what Cipriani's all about. He's been quiet so far, but a moment of brilliance from the former England international, and Gloucester are right back in this one.
Well, really well worked try. Excellent chip from Cipriani. He's tried that a few times through this game. The little dink over the cover to try and get the chick through, fielded by one of his outrunning outside centres or wingers, and he's managed to pull it off on that occasion. Jason Woodward hauled down just before the line, but excellent support from Mark Atkinson against his former club Sale to take advantage, and a very kickable conversion this for Billy Twelvetrees. So we've said it a few times, Ollie, Sale's dominance not reflected as much as it might have been on the scoreboard, and now if Twelvetrees lands this 13-7, Gloucester are very much in touch. But a very well worked try, good handling, and the best piece of rugby that we've seen from the visitors all afternoon.
And here comes Twelvetrees then. A relatively simple kick just to the left hand side of the post. So hush goes around the AJ Bell Stadium as Cipriani prepares to, Twelvetrees prepares to step up. Sale currently leading by 8 points. Can Twelvetrees reduce that to 6? And he does. And Gloucester have their first points on the board. It's Sale Sharks 13, Gloucester 7. And it looks like Cipriani is down injured at the moment. He's having some attention by the Gloucester medics. We can't quite see what the problem is, but it does look as if he'll be able to continue. And Cipriani does so much good for Gloucester that if he does have to come off, it will be a big blow for them.
Yeah, he's an absolutely key man for Gloucester, and every time he's had ball in hand this afternoon, he's tried to make something happen. He's looked to do something innovative and try and do something that Sale were perhaps not expecting, and we saw that on that occasion with the try that he ultimately made. So crucial for Gloucester that he keeps going. He's back on his feet now. It doesn't look like the problem has been too severe, but game on here at the AJ Bell with 27 minutes to play.
And here come Gloucester deep inside their own half in their 22. They look to drive up through the forwards. Sale making a nuisance of themselves though. But the ball comes back for Simpson. Looks as if again we'll see a clearance kick from the former Wasps man. There's the kick from Simpson. And Hammersley was underneath it, but it's just gone out into touch, and it will be a Sale line out on just shy of the Gloucester 10-metre line.
Keep your messages coming into us this afternoon using the hashtag SharksLive. Glenn Brook has been in touch, and Glenn says some might be in hashtag Japan, but the stalwarts are at home supporting the locals. He's here for Sale against Gloucester. Thank you, Glenn, for your tweet. And good to have so many of you interacting with the commentary this afternoon.
Remember, if you do want to get involved, use the hashtag SharksLive, and we'll get back to you whilst the game's going on. But that's another lost line out there for Sale. That's probably the one aspect of the game that hasn't quite gone right so far, and another chance here for Gloucester, who have really come out firing in this second half. They did very little in the first period, but it has been all Gloucester so far in these opening 40 minutes of the second period as they look to build again through Cipriani. A nice pop pass from him into the hands of Creel on the halfway line of Gloucester. A good carry from Ackerman, but the Sale defence is up quickly on, and we can't quite make any distance forward. But here's Simpson again to Cipriani, to Twelvetrees. Gloucester moving right here. Atkinson with a kick through, but it's gone straight into touch. A poor kick there from Atkinson. Gloucester were building something, but they've got that one wrong, and Sale have the chance here to get something going in the second half in opening 15 minutes period where they haven't really got anything going.
Yeah, poor mistake that from Atkinson, because he had quite a big area to aim at, and Gloucester, as you said, Ollie, were starting to build some decent momentum, and now Sale have the chance just to take the energy out of those Gloucester waves of attack and try and give themselves a bit of a platform again on the Gloucester 10-metre line. But just important for Sale to try and get through a few phases now, to get some possession, to get the forwards rucking and mauling and moving forward in the way they were in the first half, and just try and take a little bit of the pace out of this Gloucester attack.
That line out was much better from Sale. Webber at the back of the maul, and it was driven forward quite far, but it's gone to floor now, and it comes out the backs. Here's Dan Dupria, a good drive from him on the Gloucester 10-metre line. Can Sale build something here? Cliff to Rob Dupria. Sam James, he's tackled well by 12 Trees and driven back onto the halfway line. Good defence there from the England man, and it's a penalty to Gloucester. Great work on the floor there from the visitors, and they'll get the penalty on the halfway line, and a chance here, just 6 points behind, to try and reduce that deficit once again.
Well, it's a long way out for a shot at the sticks here for Billy 12 Trees, and Danny Cipriani taking over and deciding to kick down the touchline and try and give his side a decent position from which to try and win a line out. But as you say, Ollie, Sale just struggling to really get a grip of the game in this second half in the way that they did in the first. Gloucester having the lion's share of possession, starting to get into the groove a little bit more. That try has clearly lifted them. An important phase of the game here for Sale to try and see this period out and try and get back a toe into the game again.
It does look as if Rohan Janse van Rensburg is warming up, of course injured in that first game. He's on the Sale bench today as Gloucester drive forward and on the maul into the Sale 22. The Sharks trying to hold them up here, but Gloucester continue to move forward. Penalty advantage. It looks as if Sale might be penalised for it at the side, but out Gloucester come. A great pass from Cipriani. He's out to Woodward. He gives it outside to Marshall, and Gloucester have scored their second try of the second half. It's been all the cherry and white so far in this second period, and they go over in the right hand corner to reduce the deficit to just a point, and suddenly this game has a different complexion about it.
Well, once more it's Cipriani's speed of thought and speed of distribution. Really good long pass, bringing in Jason Woodward, and then Tom Marshall finishing in the corner. And Gloucester being really clinical here. When they've got it right, they've made sure they take full advantage of the positions that they've had. And having got that penalty and elected to kick down the line, Cipriani's decision absolutely vindicated from the move that then followed. And if 12 Tree lands this conversion, then Gloucester move into a surprise lead. But this has been very much a different flavour of rugby since the interval, Ollie, and Gloucester right back in this game.
Here comes then 12 Trees, a very difficult kick out on the right-hand side, just in front of the Princeland stand. If he converts this, it will give Gloucester the lead. The first 18 minutes of the second half where they really have dominated, have all the possession and territory, almost the opposite of the first half where it was all Sale, but Gloucester have managed to convert that into points. And can 12 Trees here convert to give them the lead? Danny Cipriani, the man who's inspired this Gloucester comeback, obviously a former Shark himself. We spoke earlier in the week to Mike Forshaw about how to deal with him, and Sale did so well in the first half at doing that, but they haven't quite done it in the second so far. But 12 Trees misses his kick, and Sale remain 13-12 up with about 22 minutes remaining.
Well, it's perfectly set up for the final quarter, isn't it? Perfectly set up now. Sale have had more than a warning from the Gloucester reaction in this second half as Cameron Redpath makes his way to the bench. His day is done. Rohan Janse van Rensburg is on. And if ever Sale needed their finishers to try and get this game back by the scruff of the neck again and try and ensure that they give themselves a bit of daylight, now is the time. 13-12 then, 20 minutes to play.
And Gloucester have the ball just outside their own 22. He's been excellent so far in his second period. 2 tries for them as Cipriani looks to clear, which he of course does. A decent kick from him, but it stays in field, and Hammersley collects it just outside his 22. He gives it to Dupria, and we'll see a kick from Rob Dupria. Very, very high. A tough one this for Cipriani, and he takes it well under some pressure from Hammersley, and a chance here for Gloucester again. Here's Woodward looking to get to the outside, and he does. Some speed from Woodward. An excellent break from him, and it looks like he might have been taken high there, and he was, and it's a penalty to Gloucester. And again, Gloucester really getting the territory in the second half, and they've got so many exciting players. You've got someone like Cipriani. We've also got players like Woodward and Marshall, who of course have experience over in New Zealand. So you really do have to be careful when playing against this Gloucester backline, because they are so dangerous, and they'll get another chance here to build an attacking opportunity.
Yeah, high tackle that from Jean-Luc Duprier, and he acknowledged it after he'd made it. So it was a high impact from him. In fact, it was Dan Duprier with the high tackle, but just an indication of the frustration and the fact that Gloucester's back players started to raise concerns and questions in the Sale side, that kind of tackle was made in some desperation. Gloucester throw.
A good throw from Gloucester. It comes straight off the top. That's Atkinson who drives up. He's tackled by Rob Duprier. Quick ball though. Here's Simpson to Cipriani. It comes wide to Woodward. A kick through from Woodward. It's well blocked by Hammersley, but Sale have penalised for offside. And this may be a chance here for Billy Twelvetrees to put Gloucester into the lead for the first time.
Well, very kickable, you'd think, this on the 22-metre line, about 20 metres in from touch, and Twelvetrees is in fact going to have a go. And I think more often than not, Billy Twelvetrees will kick this, so this will take Gloucester into the lead for the first time in the game. And Sale need to regroup here. John O'Ross has got to get his messages around his side, because they have been second best for most of the second half. It's been a very different flavour to what we saw in the first 40 minutes, and Sale at the moment just struggling, Ollie, for a platform, struggling to get through a few phases, to get some possession and to try and push Gloucester back a bit. It's Gloucester who've got the bit between their teeth, and they've got the momentum.
They do have all the momentum, and Sale's home record, they haven't been beaten here since February when they were beaten by Exeter, is that under threat now, as Twelvetrees to the left-hand side of the post, just outside his own 22, looks to give them the lead. It should be a simple kick, but these ones can be missed, especially in these conditions where it's got a little bit wet and a little bit damp underfoot. As Twelvetrees steps up. And it looks like he's pushed that one wide. A let-off for Sale there. I'll be disappointed with that one, Twelvetrees. It was a relatively simple kick, but he just got a little bit too much on it, and it dragged to the wide right of the posts.
That's a bad miss, Ollie, isn't it? It really is. In good kicking conditions and on the correct side for a right-footed kicker, Twelvetrees will be disappointed. I mean, that's the sort of kick he's got to be getting 8 or 9 times out of 10. A let-off for Sale. Twelvetrees has left 5 points out on the park in the last few minutes, and they could be crucial points.
And here come Gloucester again. We've said it a lot, but they really have had all this possession and territory in the second half, and they're looking to build. Here's Cipriani out the back to Twelvetrees, to Atkinson. They've got a bit of space down the right-hand side with Fawley, pushing up towards the Sale 22. Simpson out again. That's a good tackle from Ben Curry. He gets out the line quickly and stops the Gloucester man in his tracks, but Gloucester retain possession, and here's Cipriani again to Twelvetrees, wrap around nicely there to Twelvetrees. Here's Atkinson. He's put Marshall into the gap. He looks to offload, but it's well defended there from Sale, and it's gathered by Josh Beaumont, but he's penalised. It looks like Ruan Ackerman does the work there.
Yeah, it was Bryn Evans, wasn't it? Evans on the floor, initially winning the ball back and then not releasing. And that's what's cost the New Zealander the penalty. He's in discussion with referee Jackson. Initially did a great piece of work in trying to pick up that loose ball, and this is going to give Twelvetrees another opportunity in almost exactly the same place where he missed a few moments ago. Now, will he go for it himself, or will they change kicker, and will Cipriani have a go at the posts? Or will Cipriani go to the corner? He's going to go to the corner.
Very, very interesting decision there from Gloucester. We saw last night in the Bristol against Bath game, Bath opted for a scrum straight in front of the Bristol post, and they regretted it didn't come away with any points, and Gloucester have turned down the opportunity for 3 points there. But they are going to go for the try in the corner. Their line-out has been relatively strong so far, a little bit better than Sale's, but they'll have to wait with a man down in midfield. It looks like that's Ben Curry.
Yeah, that sort of decision is always okay if you then score the try. If you don't, people can constantly come back and say, why did they kick to the corner? They're a point behind, there's 17 minutes to play. Nudge yourself ahead on the scoreboard. And although Twelvetrees missed the previous kick, I'd have thought there was a pretty good chance that, seeing as he's had a sighter, a kick from virtually the same place again, you'd have probably backed him to have landed it. But Cipriani had seen enough, decided on instinct that he wanted a kick to the corner, and clearly if Gloucester score from this, then the decision will be vindicated. It's the end of the afternoon for Ben Curry though. He is coming off. Marlon Yard is on, and Byron McGuigan is off, and Ambrose Papier is on for Will Cliff. So the Sale bench is totally emptied now. All 8 players, sorry, are on.
So here come Gloucester then, a chance for them now. The line out just shy of the Sale 5 metre line. There's a bit of jumping around, but they do keep the ball, and here comes the drive. It's not driven, it's an inside pass. Are they going to get over? They can't. They're just short of the line. Here come Gloucester again. Sale defending frantically here. Can the visitors take the lead for the first time today? They're going to keep it in the forwards for the moment as they drive around the corner. They're held up so far. Sale doing a decent job of repelling the Gloucester attack. There is a penalty advantage. It looks like it's for offside. So Gloucester have a bit of a free play here. And Simpson will use it with the backs. Is Cipriani. A no-look pass from here, and it's intercepted by Ashton. But of course, Cipriani knew that. He went for the killer pass, knowing that if anything bad came from it, they would still have the penalty advantage. And Gloucester's dominance in this second half continues.
Well, knowing you've got the penalty, you can chance your arm, and Danny Cipriani absolutely did that. But Sale just can't get a foothold at the moment. They can't get any sustained possession. And this time 12 Trees bang in front of the post will not miss this one. So this is going to be 15-13 to Gloucester with a quarter of an hour to go. It'll be the first time that the visitors have gone into the lead. And Sale, despite having emptied the bench, are going to need to find some phases, get some basics going, find some fluency, because all their impressive attacking play of the first half has sadly been missing in the second. And the home fans getting behind their team, they can sense the need to try and lift them. And if ever there's a time for a bench to show its ability to be true game changers, well, it's now.
So here comes Sale then, 15 minutes remaining. Rob Dupree kicks off. The Sale chase is good, and it's deep inside the Gloucester 22. Ackerman collects it, and Gloucester look to break out here. The visitors leading by 15 points to 13. A brilliant second half comeback from then as Cipriani clears just past the halfway line, but it's collected well by Hammersley. Can he create something here? He finds a little bit of a gap, but is well tackled by 12 Trees. But Sale retain possession. They've got the penalty advantage. There's Papier, the man on for Cliff. Sale look to take advantage of that. It's a crossfield kick from Rob Dupree, straight into the hands of John O'Ross, and he gives it to Sam James on the outside. He breaks towards the Gloucester 22. A lovely touch there from Dupree, an excellent kick from him, and a chance for the Sharks. They've almost into the Gloucester 22. There's Will Griff-John. Well tackled there by the Gloucester man, but Sale still have the ball. Here's Rob Dupree again. Rob Webber, penalty advantage to Sale. Here's Papier. Rob Dupree around the corner to Hammersley, but is well defended by 12 Trees. But Sale have the penalty and an immediate chance, if they want to respond to that 12 Trees penalty.
Well, this is a great position for Rob Dupree to kick Sale back in front, just under 14 minutes to go. And if he gets this, it will give Sale a 1-point lead. First time in a long time, Ollie, that we've actually seen some Sale back play, which has started to hurt Gloucester. And as you mentioned, Sam James getting away on that left-hand flank, making good ground into the Gloucester 22. But important really for Sale to score next, having conceded 15 points without managing to reply. If Dupree can land this, then it does put them back in the lead again and just puncture a little bit Gloucester's momentum in this half. But we're set for a really fascinating last 13 minutes. Very hard to call which way this one's going to go.
As Dupree, straight in front of the post, looks to give Sale the lead again. Here at the AJ Bell Stadium in the opening round of the Gallagher Premiership. You're listening to Sharks Live on Facebook, on Twitter and on YouTube. The Sale Sharks social media channels. We'll be here for every Gallagher Premiership game. Next up is Wasps in November. We're here for that one on a Friday night. As Dupree looks to give Sale the lead. There's a hush around the AJ Bell. The fans here knowing how important this kick is. After a pretty inconsistent second half from Sale so far. It's been all Gloucester, but can Dupree put the Sharks back in front? The South African so integral to victories over Gloucester last season down at Kingsholm. He scored 10 points that day. Can he add more against the West Country side? He steps up, and it's good. Straight through the middle of the post, and Sale are back in the lead. It is Sale Sharks 16, Gloucester Rugby 15.
Solid kick from Rob Dupree, but now this is an important kick return for Sale. Having got back in the lead again, they need to try and make sure they secure the ball from this Danny Cipriani restart and put 2 or 3 phases together to clear the danger.
It's a good restart from Cipriani, but Janssen van Rensburg takes it well, and he breaks a tackle of 12 Trees, exactly what he's in the side for. Such a big impact on the bench the South Africa can make. As Sale look to set up for the kick, it's Papier. And he clears it. High hanging kick, it's Simpson underneath it, but it's actually Woodward that takes the catch and is scrappy, but Gloucester do hold on to possession and they drive up through Krill. Gloucester with the chance now. They've had so many in this second half, a big change from their first half performance, but they are still behind on the scoreboard despite those 15 unanswered points. Here's Cipriani, a big tackle there from Jean-Luc du Preez, pushing back the Gloucester attackers, and here come Gloucester again. Just working their way into the Sale half. They haven't really made any yardage so far. They're just building the phases, looking to see if they can break a Sale tackle, but the defence from the Sharks has been good. Here's Cipriani out the back again to 12 Trees. We've seen that a few times today. 12 Trees again. He's well tackled by John O'Ross. No surprise there. Ross always everywhere around the park. Made more tackles than anyone else in the Premiership last year. Here come Gloucester again. On the 10-metre line, but they have the penalty advantage it looks, and here's Simpson. What can Gloucester do with this? 1 point behind, 10 minutes remaining in this opening game of the Gallagher Premiership for both sides. Here's Ackerman, but he's well tackled there by Dan du Preez, but they will have the penalty on the Sale 10-metre line, and an interesting decision here for the Gloucester captain.
Well, on the 10-metre, but very straight. It'll be a question of whether 12 Trees thinks he can get the distance. I think he'll have a go, and he is going to have a go. And this will frustrate Steve Diamond again, Ollie, because we were saying, having gone back into the lead, this was about Sale putting together 2 or 3 phases. Janssen van Rensburg got him started. He broke the gain line. He got through the initial tackle to set the ball back. This should have been about 3 or 4 steady phases, moving upfield and clearing the danger that potentially comes from a restart being spilled up. And now Gloucester back in the opportunity to get back in the lead again, and Sale have just not managed to execute in the way they would want, having got themselves ahead on the scoreboard, and it looks likely that once more the lead's going to change hand here.
We said in the first half, Chris, about the fact that Gloucester players had rested during the Premiership Rugby Cup, whereas a lot of Sale's players have played all 4 matches. Are we perhaps seeing that helping Gloucester now, with perhaps they've got extra legs in them towards the end of the game?
Certainly could be one theory for sure.
And here comes 12 Trees. He steps up. Can he convert this time? And he does. The Gloucester fans behind that post let us know that 12 Trees has been successful, and Gloucester are back in the lead here at the AJ Bell Stadium by 18 points to 16. 9 minutes remaining. This is really tense here now at the AJ Bell. It may only be the first game of the season, but both sides want to get their campaign off to the perfect start. The crowd really getting behind the Sharks. Less than 9 minutes to go.
Well, Sale, we know, have got a lot of experience in their side now. A lot of players who've come with a tremendous pedigree. This is the time for them to try and bring that to bear and see if they can turn this one around. 2 points is nothing in 9 minutes, but important that Sale don't concede the next.
As here come Gloucester, working out of their own 22. It's kicked away down the field, over the head of Rob du Preez. It's bouncing towards the Sale line, and it's gone a little bit too far, and du Preez will dot it down for a 22, and he looks to get the ball back up to Papier on the 22-metre line. The Sale want to get going quickly here. They trail on the scoreboard by 2 points. Throwing the ball around here, they take the quick tap, they're not, and it looks like it will just be cleared by Rob du Preez.
Well, we know, of course, that Ambrose Papier is an inventive and high-energy scrum half, Ollie, so perhaps he can try and really ignite this Sale backline in these remaining minutes, see if they can get something going. They've struggled for fluency in the backs in this second half. It's Gloucester who've looked the more likely really throughout the second 40. So can Papier try and get Sale moving in these remaining minutes? It might be that just one back move's enough to win this game.
And it's come towards the Sale line. Hammersley has to cover after another chip from Cipriani. He's been so dangerous in the second half, and the Sale scramble defence is good, and they do keep the ball. They're in the wrong part of the field than they need to be. 7.5 minutes remaining. They have to clear this one here. They will not want to be down here when they're down on the scoreboard. They need to get the territory back up in Gloucester's half, but Gloucester have been so good in this second half. They've kept Sale at bay, and the Sharks have had very little opportunity as the Sale forwards look to drive away.
This is another important exit for Sale, Ollie. 7 minutes to go inside their own 22. Important that there is no knock-on here or infringement. It's got to go back into du Preez's hands at some point and see if he can launch the ball up towards the 10-metre line, perhaps.
And the kick is high, but it's straight into the hands it looks like it's Marshall has the ball, and he looks to drive forward, and couldn't quite see what happened there. There looked to be a bit of an issue between Marshall and Rohan Jans van Rensburg, but it is Gloucester ball. They'll have the scrum just shy of the Sale 22 metre line. And Chris, this is a real chance here for Gloucester to extend their lead and maybe kill off this game.
Well, it's going to be an important scrum, isn't it? If ever there was a moment when Sale would want to try and take one against the head, it would be now. 6 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock. 2 points between the two sides, but Gloucester with the put in. I'm sure the conversation there between Joe Simpson and some of his colleagues will be around keeping the ball, trying to go through the phases, keeping it tight, no mistakes, perhaps waiting for a Sale infringement, trying to force a Sale infringement. Gloucester know if they can keep the ball for the next 6.5 minutes, or most of them, they are going to win this game. So it's up to Sale to try and win the ball back. Gloucester will know that, and they'll also be looking for referee Jackson to blow on his whistle if there's an offside or any other Sale infringement. So problem stations really here for Sale. They've got to get back on the ball, and they've got to get themselves upfield to perhaps give Dupree an opportunity for a drop goal or try and force a Gloucester infringement. But the clock's ticking again. We've got less than 6 minutes to play, and we're camped on the Sale 22.
As Chris said, less than 6 minutes to go. The ball comes in from Simpson. He goes to the short side, pops it back into Cipriani, but a handoff from Cipriani. He gives it to Ackerman. Gloucester will be looking to just keep possession here as they build just outside the Sale 22. There's Cipriani. He gives it to Fury. He drives that. Simpson recycles it. Wilgriff John did make a hassle of himself there, but Gloucester keep the ball. But it's a bit scrappy, and it looked as if it had gone forward off a Sale player, and Gloucester keep the ball through Marshall. 5.5 minutes to go here at the AJ Bell Stadium. Sale Sharks 16, Gloucester Rugby 18. Gloucester continue with it in possession. Here's Cipriani again. Good defence so far from Sale. They're keeping Gloucester at bay, but they do need the ball. They do need to get some more points on the board, or they will lose here on the opening day of the Premiership season. Gloucester continue in possession, and this has been good from the visitors, not giving the Sharks a sniff, but that's excellent defence there from Van Rensburg. He pushes the Gloucester man back, and Gloucester are forced back onto the Sale 10 metre line, but they do keep the ball. Here's Simpson to Cipriani. Good pass from Cipriani, but well defended by John Ross. Not really going anywhere here, Gloucester, but they do keep the ball as Woodward drives in.
Don't need to though, Ollie, do they? Just got to keep possession and execute cleanly, keep the passing accurate. For as long as they maintain possession, Sale can't win this game.
It's exactly the kind of thing you see from a quality side. Gloucester won so many of these games last year on their way to third in the Premiership, and Webber goes for an interception, doesn't quite work out, and Gloucester have the advantage, and 12 Trees almost breaks through, but he's well hauled down by Wilgriff John, and Sale look to drive through on the ruck, and they might have turned this over, but Gloucester do keep it. Simpson there again. He's been everywhere today. Excellent on his Gloucester debut. Webber makes a hassle of himself again, but he comes through the middle.
Miles offside.
And he comes offside, and is a penalty to Gloucester, and I'd be surprised if we saw anything here but a 12 Trees kick.
Well, now that's frustration from Rob Webber, Ollie, isn't it? Gloucester had kept it tight, lots of short passes. The loose head prop replacement, Josh Honeck, constantly fed on short balls just to try and keep the ball. And this is what happens. You know, if you're ahead on the scoreboard, if you can just keep possession and keep the passing clean, you don't need to be going forward, you don't need to be attempting anything too ambitious. It is incumbent on Sale to try and force a turnover. They couldn't do it, and Rob Webber, out of desperation and frustration combined, steps offside. And if 12 Trees kicks this, then you're looking at a 5-point lead with the clock running down. So Sale are clearly going to have to score a try. A drop goal or a penalty will not be enough. So not looking good for Sale at this point. Credit to Gloucester. They have really turned this match round in the second half. But I'm sure Steve Diamond would be frustrated that the dominance his side had in the first 40 minutes didn't give them more of a cushion, because that just kept that door a little bit ajar for Gloucester. And my, if they forced it open in this half.
So here's 12 Trees then. Just past the Sale 10 metre line to the left. He missed an easier kick than this earlier in this second half, but a big kick here for him. Less than 3 minutes remaining. Can he add a killer blow here for Gloucester? He steps up, and he's missed it to the left.
A chink of light.
So that's certainly the case, Chris, and Sale have a chance here. That was a crucial miss, because, as you said, if that had been converted, then Sale would have needed a try, and in these conditions, which have got more difficult throughout the game, that would have been difficult, but they just need the 3 points. But they do need to get down into the Gloucester half, as Rob Dupree's 22 is collected well by Ackerman. Gloucester now will just want to keep the ball, but Ackerman is tackled well there by Dupree and Webber.
Sale have got to turn this over, and they've not got it.
And here's Simpson through the forwards. Simpson again. I doubt we'll see anything from the back, so they just want to keep the ball in hand. And there's Ackerman. He's been everywhere today. An excellent performance from the Gloucester number 8. A real battle between the two back rows, two quality back rows. And that's a great drive through there from Jean-Luc Duprea. And Sale turned the ball over. And there's Papier. And it looks as if there was a knock-on in the process there. Sale complained, but they still got the ball. There's Ross. Sam James. A lot of excitement around the AJ Bell. Can he make anything happen? A great offload from him. More great offload. And there's Rob Duprea. But Sale not in the Gloucester half yet. But there'll be a penalty down towards us here in the AJ Bell stand. And I think we'll see Sale clear this into the Gloucester half. And Chris, did that look like a deliberate knock-on to you?
Well, I mean, the penalty's been given. JP Doyle's come in. He's having further conversations with Andrew Jackson now about what happened. Now, Sean Davies been brought in, the TMO, to have a look at this incident. There was certainly a big pile-up at the breakdown, a big drive-through from Sale, but referee Jackson is obviously keen to have a good look at what happened. Unfortunately, we don't have a connection to his microphone, so he's going to have a good look at this. We've got 1 minute 40, 1 minute 39 left on the clock, so Sale have just a little bit of hope, just a little bit of light here, but there's obviously something that Jackson wants to look at. Now, this could be a reversal of penalty potentially here, depending on what's been seen. Let's have a look on the screen here. We can see Rob Webber driving in now. It might be a deliberate knock-on that they're having a look at from Gloucester that might have stopped Sale from getting away. Now, I think the penalty was already coming anyway, so could we be in yellow card territory? Possibly. Let's have another look at the rerun here. So Sale have won the ball at the turnover, and out comes an outstretched left arm. There is then an impact on the Sale player, so I don't think it's going to be a reversal. It's just a question of the severity of punishment that goes against Gloucester here. So Andrew Jackson has seen enough on the screen. I think he's going to his pocket. It is a yellow card. Well, that gives Sale just a little bit more hope in the remaining minutes of this game. I think it's Freddie Clark, the replacement, who is into the bin. So he has played his last part in today's match. So Sale have the opportunity up against 14 men for the last minute and 40 seconds. But there it is. Oh, yes!
What a moment that was, Chris. Everyone in the stand thought Sam James's kick had gone too far, and it bounced absolutely perfectly into touch to give Sale a 5-metre line out. Chris, what do they say? Never trust the bouncing rugby ball.
Never indeed. That was either genius or a big dollop of luck. 5 metres from the line, Sale throw.
And here comes the throw, and it's stolen. Unbelievable. What work from Gloucester there. It looked as if Sale had the chance, but it's a penalty. A penalty to Sale. No, I think it was just a knock-on that came from that line out. So it will be a Sale scrum. Less than a minute remaining. We're building to a massive crescendo here. Sale down on the scoreboard by 2 points. They do have the attacking scrum.
Right, so scrum to Sale, 5 metres out and 5 metres in from the right-hand touch line. So this is all about execution. The gap is only 2 points, so drop goal is in range. Potentially for Rob Duprea, he fancies that. Or does Sale just try and keep it tight here in the scrum? Maybe go for a pushover try with Dan Duprea. They've got less than 30 seconds to play. The clock is ticking. But of course, we will play beyond the 80th minute until there is a break in play.
Such drama here at the AJ Bell on the opening round of the Premiership. Sale down on the scoreboard by 2 points, but they have the scrum 5 metres out from the Gloucester line. This is the moment that all the training would have been worth in the summer, those 4 months off from May to September. Here comes the scrum. Papier puts it in. It's a good drive from the Sale pack. They've got the penalty advantage. The ball's at the back of the scrum. Papier brings it out and is not quite gathered, but it will be a penalty to Sale. An issue at the scrum there for Gloucester. They'll have another chance here, Sale, and we'll probably see a reset of that scrum.
Well, it's a penalty, so there's an opportunity for Duprea to have a go for the post here. Is he going to have a go? He's going to be 10 metres in from the right-hand touch line. It's the wrong side for a right-footed kicker. If he kicks and misses, it's the end of the game. If Sale take a scrum, then clearly they've got the opportunity to try and get through that movement. No, Duprea's going to go for the post, so it's going to come down to a kick. The whole outcome of this game will depend on Rob Duprea's ability to land this kick. What a moment. If he misses, Gloucester win. If he manages to get it between the posts. It's a Sale victory by 19 points to 18. The clock shows 0-0-0.
What a moment this is, Chris. Rob Dupree signed for moments like this. He's so good off the tee. We've seen it in his short Sale career so far. He's good with under pressure, but this is the most pressure ever likely to experience on a rugby field.
Well, he's 15 metres in, isn't he? He's 15 metres in from touch from the right-hand side. You would say, what, 7 times out of 10 a kicker would get this? You'd have to say you'd rather be Sale as Dupree steps back, but the big word is pressure.
So here's Dupree then, a hush around the AJ Bell Stadium. The Sale fans hoping and expecting. It's a difficult kick, but you hope he will get it for the Sharks to start the season. And here's Dupree. He's taken his time, as you would expect, in such a pressure moment. And he steps up. And he kicks it. And he's missed! It hits the post! And it comes out for Gloucester. They've got the ball. The ball is still in play. Gloucester just need to kick this ball off the park and they'd have won. Sale looking to try and get the ball back, but they can. And Joe Simpson boots the ball into touch. A heartbreaking moment for Sale there. It looked so much like Rob Dupree's kick had gone over, but it just drifted towards the right and hit the post. So tough for the Sharks to take in their first game of the season, but Gloucester escaped with an 18-16 win.
Well, incredible, Ollie. What an end to the game. It didn't look like he made a particularly good connection with the ball, Rob Dupree. I was actually surprised it hit the post. I thought it was going to miss on the right-hand side. The most relieved man in the AJ Bell will be Billy Twelvetrees, who missed 2 very kickable penalties for Gloucester, which would have put it out of reach for the Sale Sharks. But Steve Diamond's men will be devastated there. You don't get any nearer to winning a game than the width of a post. But unfortunately for them on this occasion, the luck was not with Rob Dupree. The ball bounces back off the post and Gloucester can clear and escape from the AJ Bell really with a victory that looks so unlikely at half-time. Sale going in 10 points to the good, building on that, 13 points up as we move past 50 minutes. It looked a long way back then for Gloucester, but back they came. They took their tries well. Danny Cipriani with a couple of moments of brilliance from outside half, releasing his backs to put them in. And at the very end, Sale just couldn't quite have that bit of luck, and Rob Dupree just couldn't quite execute. He'll be hurting tonight. Encouragement for Sale in the fact that they competed with a team who finished 3rd last year. They gave them a really good game. They took a losing bonus point, of course. So some positives in defeat, but I'm sure Steve Diamond and his coaching staff will be mighty disappointed that they've come out of this game with a defeat.
Yeah, disappointing one there for Sale, Chris. They played so well in the first half. They had those chances and it didn't quite just work out. And in that second half, Gloucester really did show their class. Cipriani probably made the difference in the end. He showed so many nice touches, especially with ball in hand. And it looked as if Gloucester had done it, but then Dupree kicked Sale back ahead, and then it was Twelvetrees who kicked Gloucester back ahead. And then at the end, we all thought it might be Dupree who might be the hero, but it wasn't quite to be. But Chris, what can Sale build on from this? I know it's a defeat, but there were still positives out there.
Yeah, there were. I mean, the first half performance was very encouraging. Aka van der Merwe, a real presence in the loose, made the try for Byron McGuigan, and we saw some decent combinations, particularly in the first 40 minutes. But there is a big difference between Premiership Rugby Cup action and the Premiership itself. There's a step up in intensity and in focus, and clearly we saw the 2 contrasting approaches from the 2 directors of rugby before the game, and we said, well, in the first half, Sale's match fitness and experience of playing games together in the Premiership Rugby Cup was an advantage to them against a Gloucester side who'd had relatively little rugby. In the second half, perhaps we saw that extra freshness come through in the Gloucester legs maybe, and that perhaps played its part as well. But the analysis and the hypothesising, well, all that can take place over the coming days. Clearly Sale had the better of the first half, Gloucester the better of the second. 2 very evenly matched teams. It couldn't have got much closer. It's a disappointing start for Sale, but it's a long season ahead, and there's still 21 more games to be played in the Gallagher Premiership.
And we saw at the end of last season, this game was a high-scoring thriller, whereas the opposite on the opening day of the season. There's going to be that rustiness out there so early on. I know Sale have played their 4 games and a lot of first-team players have played, but you can't really substitute that for these Gallagher Premiership matches, can you?
Well, no, you can't, and you're up against teams in the Premiership Rugby Cup that are mixtures of young players being given their opportunity, more experienced players who are more likely to play in Premiership first teams getting a bit of game time, lots of alternation of players. It's almost like a series of pre-season friendlies to an extent, and so it's hard to draw too many conclusions. I think what we do know is that Gloucester are a very well-drilled side who are on the up, and for Sale to have drawn them as the first opponents this season was always going to be a tough ask. They've competed very well across the pitch, and Sale are a team full of new players, and no matter how hard you work on training camps and in Premiership Rugby Cup games, you're only really going to find out about a team when they're playing in the main event, which is clearly the Gallagher Premiership. And this team, you think, will get better week on week as combinations get established, players understand each other's games better, and all that kind of fusion occurs. So Sale will take positives, I'm sure, from today. It's important that they don't read too much into the defeat. Often you see early in the season it's hard to predict outcomes of games, and you do tend to see teams tending to beat each other in the first 3 or 4 rounds. So just important for Sale that they get back on it quickly. And of course, Wasps are the next visitors here to the AJ Bell in round about 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, disappointing day there for Sale, Chris, but remember, it's just the start of the season. We'll be back here again for the Wasps game on a Friday night in November. We'll be here before every Gallagher Premiership game with live commentary, myself and Chris, throughout the season. But one game doesn't define a team, of course. There are still 21 rounds to go. And there was that huddle at the end there. Chris, what do you think the likes of John O'Ross would have been saying in there?
Well, it's hard to know, isn't it? You don't know the messages that have been relayed. Hopefully there would be a message in there about areas for improvement where Jono felt the side could have been a little better in places. But in the immediate aftermath of a game, I don't suppose anyone's got a really clear head to pick apart the game with any sort of forensic detail. I think it would be more about trying to lift spirits a little bit and try and ensure the team comes together in that defeat. And perhaps he tried to position it, I don't know, that's the kind of moment they don't want to have again this season. They don't want to have that feeling of despondency, and that should be a marker from which they go forward. Who knows? But a lot of rugby still to be played this season, and I'm sure this is a team that's going to get better by the week.
And that's all from us up here in the commentary box. The final score here at the AJ Bell Stadium, Sale Sharks 16, Gloucester Rugby 18.
Okay, thanks for watching. That is it. 16 Sale Sharks, 18 Gloucester. Not the result that I was hoping for, probably a lot of us here were hoping for. Losing bonus point, we'll take that. Let's go and chat to a couple of fans in a second. We're just going to give you the full-time scores. Full-time scores: Exeter 22, Quins 19, Saracens 25, Northampton Saints 27, Worcester 21, Leicester 16. Okay, let's have a little chat with some of the fans here. Let's go and see if we can have a chat to somebody. Sale Sharks fans, where are they? Let's go and chat to these guys over here. All right, guys, how you doing? Did you enjoy that at all?
Yeah, it was really good. We were just a bit unlucky then.
Okay, which clubs are you from? You're from?
Wilmslow, Stockport, Wilmslow, Bowden.
Bowden with the massive in at the end. Who's your favourite player?
Don't have one.
You don't have just all of them in general, guys. Yeah.
Tom Curry.
Tom Curry, great guys. Good luck. Like, big cheers when the guys come out to see you. Okay. Okay, some more fans over here. We'll have to get around the speakers a little bit though. How we doing? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I really did.
Good stuff. Did you enjoy that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, what clubs are you from?
Blackburn.
Blackburn? I live near Blackburn. Where are you from?
Blackburn is.
Blackburn in the house. Good stuff, guys. Well done. Okay, let's have a little walk down here, see who else we've got. There's a couple more here. Let's have a chat. Hi, guys. How you doing? You okay? A couple more Sale Sharks fans down here. Sale Sharks fans, how you doing? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Where are you from?
Manchester.
Manchester?
Manchester.
Do you play rugby yourself?
No. I do.
Who you play for?
Sedgley Park.
Sedgley Park in the house. Great. So you coming next time?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Good stuff, guys. Well done. Thanks for seeing us. So let's keep the conversation going. We'll be going. We're going to go get a cup of tea. Let's keep the conversation going. Sale Sharks, hashtag Sale Sharks Live. Comments below. Keep us informed. Keep asking the questions. We want to hear from you over the next couple of weeks before we come back again to Sale Sharks Live.